What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of Debate with Bait, brought to you by Most Serious Entertainment in the heart of Most City, Texas. Of course, I'm your host with the most, Mr. Charles Baker, aka people know me on this show as Mr. C. Bake. That's my co-host, my guy, my Mr. New York City, with his Jets hat on tonight. You know, he's very happy because of the possible signing of Aaron Rodgers and another, a couple of more characters that could actually help the Jets be somewhat important in New York City again. Man, a resurgence. But that's Gerard Cole, aka Rude Boy, aka Mr. New York Jet for this episode. What's going on, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Nothing but good news coming from New York. My man Brunson come back, Julius Randle. Even though we lost, dropping 57, just putting the league on notice, letting people know that he might be that team that's like Boston from last year and go to the NBA Finals, man. After that, if we lucky, we keep winning, we have dudes like Jaylen Brown saying, hey, I want to go there too. But we'll talk about this stuff later in the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, as crazy as that sounds, he might have a point. Things are rocking in New York. We got to hear about the Jets and what they're doing. The Knicks have been probably one of the best teams in the NBA since the All-Star break. And so he might have a point. New York Mania might take over the show one day. But not today while I'm still here. But anyway, before we get started, let's pay some bills. Make sure you follow us on Most Serious Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to Most Serious Entertainment on YouTube. All right, Cole. Here it is, man. Let's get into it. All right, first topic. And I picked this topic because I've been saying this for a long time. Well, I'm not going to say I've been saying it because I haven't said it on the show, but I've been thinking this for a long time. But Michael Jordan is reportedly in talks to sell the majority stake in Hornets after 17 seasons of only making the playoffs 3 times. Out of 17 seasons, the Wizards have made the playoffs 3 times. Never won a playoff series in 17 seasons. Playoff record is 3-12. And the topic for tonight, the question for tonight on this topic rather is, and we'll talk about this in length, why has Jordan been so unsuccessful at this task? Why has he not been better as an NBA owner? And I kind of feel bad because Jordan, to me, is such a winner on the court. I mean, the things that he's done, arguably the greatest player of all time. But why do you think he's been so unsuccessful at this task? I mean, it kind of hurts me at the heart, Cole, and I'm going to let you answer the question because it's like, man, we have a black owner in a major American sport, and it's like he's just been unsuccessful. I mean, he has not been able to propel the Wizards to even a respectable playoff team. So, in your opinion, why do you think Mr. Jordan has been so unsuccessful at being the owner of the Washington Wizards?
Man, I think it comes down to, first, when he started out, I think it was a little bit of he was hiring a lot of different coaches. He didn't really have a foundation. And I think a lot of when you see winning organizations, I feel like they have like a winning foundation, meaning they have a front office that has the same, priorities as the coaching staff. And I felt there was a lot too much movement there. And then I think when he started to establish himself as, building some consistency with players like LaMelo Ball, Miles, and even Hayward, to an extent, he had to deal with injuries. LaMelo's been injured every single season since he's been there. Gordon Hayward's been injured. Miles got into some personal issues with, the allegations of him, beating his spouse, his wife, or his girlfriend, whoever it was.
Abuse. Right.
So I just think it's just a mix of a lot of things. Like the dominoes just haven't fell his way. I think he's a great player, but not every player is a great GM. I think to some people, they would say he suffers from what Isaiah Thomas suffered from. It's hard to build a team. Like you want it a certain way. Your expectations are a certain way, but sometimes you just can't put it together. And I'm glad that he became the first Black owner in the NBA. And he's not going to give up the full rights to the team. He just wants to become minority owner. But I could say if you ask me to rate the job that he's done, I will give him a C. I think he had some good seasons where they're like, okay, Kemba Walker was a great pick. He helped establish the culture of that organization. And then he had some down years. And then he came back with LaMelo. It was hot for a season with Miles last year. And then, like I said, the injuries, the mishaps off the court. So I'll give him a C for his up and down nature of the organization. But he left a lot. He left me as a fan of watching 80s and 90s basketball, wanting more and expecting more from the greatest basketball player of all time.
I mean, you're being generous. Golly, a C. Ooh, and I hate to criticize Jordan on this because I think so highly of him. Even the success on the basketball court, the success off the basketball court. Of course, we know about the Air Jordan shoe line with Nike. Man, I a C. You clarified why you gave him a C. I mean, he has run into some unfortunate situations with injuries. But I just think, for me, I think he's been a successful, and I'm just taking a stab at it. This is just my opinion. People are going to criticize me about it, but I don't care. But I just think, what Jordan has, and I see this with a lot of great athletes who decide to become coaches, decide to become GMs, or decide to become executives when they're making decisions as far as players. Their view of the game may be a little bit unrealistic when it comes to picking players and how people should play and putting people in certain positions. For Jordan, I never could figure out what type of player he was looking for. And I'll give you an example. There's Kwame Brown. Okay, I understand that. Big, strong, athletic, superior athlete, had some skills, but had a lot of upside. I could understand that. I could follow that. Then he turns around and picks Adam Morrison, from I think it was Gonzaga. Maybe he had a great year at Gonzaga. But he picked Adam Morrison. Okay. I don't know the similarities. Maybe the only similarity between Morrison and Kwame Brown is upside. We'll say that. Because I think Morrison was 6'8", 6'7", could play the 2 to 3. But here's some more things that I just couldn't understand that he did under his regime. He left Clay and Kawhi on the table. He let Bradley Beal on the table. He left Bradley Beal. He left Dame on the table for Kid Gilchrist and Cody Zeller. He took Zeller over Giannis, and of course we didn't know that Giannis.
And even Dame, I think we had Kemba at the time, so it was kind of hard to say we needed Dame when we had Kemba.
But I mean, still, Frank Kaminsky over Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Took Malik Monk over Donovan Mitchell. And, I never could understand. And again, Jordan is so much higher, his basketball IQ and the way he played the game he's so much higher than me. But I never could understand his logic and what he tried to establish for that organization. And I give an example, you can tell when Pat Riley drafts, he wants strong physical players, players that come with a different type of attitude when it comes to off-season conditioning. And I give example, Pat Riley probably won't pick up somebody who struggles with weight.
But that goes to the point I was making with Jordan. He never established a baseline, a culture,
right.
Something to build around. Like I felt like he was just trying to throw, and then he was in Charlotte. You got to think what NBA player wants to go to Charlotte. So it's hard to recruit, current NBA players. So you have to be perfect in the draft.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, do you think he would have had a problem trying to get anybody? People would have came and played for Michael Jordan.
Charlotte Hornets,
yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's Portland or something like that. Like, okay, maybe it's similar to Portland as far as the market, but it's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has been able to have big time athletes as far as basketball, Team Jordan, Now,
Mhm.
football, you got Team Jordan in football, you got Team Jordan in boxing, Andre
I
Ward.
think that's the brand, though. I think people respect that. But like, have
But
you ever heard any player like LeBron, Chris Bosh, KG, Paul Pierce, any of them do say, "I want to go to Charlotte when I'm a free agent"?
yeah, but that's because they weren't winning because there was nothing established as far as them winning. I think if they would have been if they would have been more decent, I don't think you have a problem landing a free agent there. Who doesn't want to play for Michael Jordan?
I think if this NBA wants to play in cities where the marketing is gonna to blow them up,
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's because the culture has been established. What you said, it's a losing culture there. Yes, of course.
Mhm.
But I'm saying when Jordan first came into the ownership role, do you think he would have had problems of trying to get guys to come play if they would have just established somewhat of a semi, winning culture? I think guys would come and play with Michael Jordan. And that's just my opinion. I'm just talking about in the beginning. I think Michael Jordan wouldn't have no problem getting players to play for him, just simply because of the fact that he's arguably the greatest of all time. That appeal, I think, could have brought players in. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. But back to what I was saying, my first point, I mean, you see it with players all the time, great players. Having difficulty coaching, having difficulty establishing culture because what they play with, other players can't. You just can't expect other players to live up to that
Mhm.
expectation. And a good example for me is with Jordan was Kwame Brown. They said that Jordan, rumors saying that Jordan was very hard on him. Well, Kwame was a high school kid, and could we really expect Kwame Brown? I mean, we see it now, but could we really expect Kwame Brown to live up to what Michael Jordan had? How is Michael Jordan able to instill in him? And we talking about culture, a culture that kind of would be able to perform at what he went through as a player. So I think
Mhm.
it's very difficult for great players to be coaches. Not saying it's impossible. And I'm talking about coaching, but again, even when you sit higher on the ownership level, and I think him and Charles Barkley are not speaking on that because Barkley criticized
Yeah,
Jordan
his
with it.
ownership. Yeah.
Yeah, saying that Jordan had a bunch of yes men because he was so great on the court. It was like whatever Jordan said, people just went along with it instead of having people to say, no, that's not how you start a culture. That's not how you start a team, And so
Mhm.
um, I think it was a lot of that. And I just think he's making a good decision. Um, it's okay. A lot of people are disappointed because, we're so used to seeing Michael Jordan achieve great things, but truth be told, he hasn't done a good job as being an owner. I mean, you
Mhm.
give him a C, it's hard for me to give him a C. And I hate to criticize him because he's a black owner. He was our first black owner, but I mean, proof is the proof. I mean, playoff record 3 of 12. I don't think he's ever been out of the first round. Out of 17 seasons, they only made it 3 times to the playoffs. I mean,
I, I mean, for
that's
me, I give him leeway because he's made to the playoff 3 times. I
out of
never
17
expected him
seasons,
to
though.
ever. I never expected him to come out the East or make waves because you had the Bostons, you had the Giannis's, you had the LeBrons with the
But I mean,
Miami.
out of 3 seasons, out of 17 seasons, you competed, you made it to the playoffs 3 years.
I I can't. Yo, it's
That's
hard.
bad. Yeah, it's
It's
bad.
hard, but
I
you
mean,
also got to think.
you give him a C, and I
But
just
but
think
think
that's crazy to me.
But I mean, if you want to say he hasn't been able to recruit talent, then I'll give him a lower grade. Because if you want to be honest with you, name a player that he's recruited as a free agent outside of Hayward that was a household name. And and he got Hayward at the end of his career after all these injuries in Boston.
I mean, I
Like
don't know.
name one household name that he got.
It all depends. It all depends. I mean, yeah, that's a strong. It all depends on your definition of a household name. I mean, he did have Stackhouse. He had.
But he probably Stackhouse after years of playing in the league.
I mean, but you ain't say, you just said name a household name. Yeah, Stackhouse.
I mean, a household name that still has some tread on their tires. At the time when he came from Boston, they gave him that big contract because they thought he would put up some numbers, and he came in, he was injured. LaMelo and Kimba are probably the only two household names that he legitimately had a chance and really played well.
I mean, I give you that. I give you that. I just disagree with the C.
The grading.
Yeah, like that's.
You would give him an F?
I mean, I don't want to say it, but I mean, if I told you, I
wouldn't even be mad though.
I mean, of course, I mean, because you come from a losing culture in New York, so you okay with that. You know, I probably asked the wrong person this question, but it's like, of course you look through that lens. But for me, it's like out of 17 seasons, you only been to the playoffs 3 times, and then I don't think you got out of the first round. That's bad. And the fact that you've given them a C shows you why the New York Knicks have been horrific for a long time. That kind of thing.
I think I could disconnect the two. I think I give them a C because I look at the location of the organization, the fact that no one wants to go there. It's like Portland. It's like, who really wants to go to Portland? Unless you trade somebody and you kind of force them to go there, who wants to go to Portland? Look at Jeremy Grant today. Jeremy Grant talking about he wants to leave at the end of the season.
Right. But with Portland, they have been to the finals multiple times.
They have a culture. Yeah.
They have been to the playoffs in the Dame Lillard era several times. And then the Wizards, the Wizards are probably, I mean, they're probably the worst. I mean, like, I'm trying to think who's been worse than the Wizards. I mean, you could say Sacramento.
This year, Sacramento.
But Sacramento in the early 2000s were challenging the championship Lakers when they had Vlade, Bibby. I mean, I don't think the Wizards have not been. I don't even think in our lifetime has the Wizards ever been to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Didn't they go that one year with John Wall, or was it the semis?
No,
the year that they were saying that LeBron and them were scared.
Yeah, that wasn't I assure you, brother, that wasn't the Eastern Conference Finals. It might have been the semifinals.
It was probably the semis. So there was 2 years that they were really good with John Wall.
I can't remember them getting out of the first round. I really can't. I can remember them having like games here and there. I think the only time I remember them being, other than that John Wall season you're talking about, is when they were the Bullets with Chris Webber. Yeah. And but that was when Mike was playing.
You might be right, though.
Yeah, think about it. I mean,
only Orlando Magic is probably the only other team that probably haven't had any like real relevancy in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's even wrong because remember, Orlando had a run with Dwight Howard. Remember, they played the Lakers in the championship against Kobe.
That was like what was that, like 2002 though?
Maybe 2002. But I want to say they had a run like in the 2000s, the late 2000s. They had a couple playoff runs.
After Dwight left, who was their star?
Was it Tracy or was Tracy before Lamar? I mean, before Dwight.
Tracy was before Dwight, and then Dwight and Jameer Nelson.
Dwight and Jameer Nelson.
And then after that, it was they didn't have no. They had Dwight, Jameer Nelson, and Turkoglu. And then after that, they went into purgatory, I felt like.
But they still won more than the Wizards.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I mean, it's just fair. We associate Jordan with greatness.
And yeah, you're 100% correct with that.
Right. We associate Jordan with greatness. And rightly so. But I mean, I'm just saying with his Wizards campaign, think about that. His Wizards campaign, I just told you, they went to the playoffs 3 times out of 17 seasons. Okay. They've never won a playoff series in 17 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Like, who's been worse than that?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I want to give him a C because, I mean, it's Michael Jordan. But I mean, to be honest with you, and I hate to criticize Michael Jordan. I really do. because he's such a childhood hero of mine. But talking about being a fan of the sport, not a fan of man, he has failed as an owner, winning wise. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on in the community or what the Wizards have done. That could be another way we could look at it. What he's done in the community. I mean, I know he's done a lot of charity work, but I mean, is that really coming from the Wizards or Jordan himself? But I mean, to be honest with you, he hasn't had success team-wise as far as ownership. So, I mean, I hate to criticize him. I love Michael Jordan, but it's just like, let's just be fair. He hasn't been a great owner in terms of winning. Let's just say that in terms of the Wizards winning.
I'll give you that debate. I could, now that you make me really think about that.
Yeah, because we always associate Michael Jordan with greatness, no matter what, whether it be the awards, Hall of Fame, I mean, shoes, I mean, his clothing, everything. There's nothing about Michael Jordan that's ever been mediocre or bad.
And to add to that, you definitely you said some good points about he drafted Adam Morrison. He drafted some people that he just totally missed on. So yeah, you're 100% right. Maybe he get a D minus, man, a D minus. I'm not gonna give him an F.
I mean, I get it. I understand that. I could take a D minus, but a C, like you was really showing him some love. Like, I was wondering if you was getting.
I'll give a C to Isaiah Thomas. Or
you know, give a C to Isaiah Thomas, or you know, who else is Larry Bird? His time with the Pacers was pretty good, but Jordan, nah, brother.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I hate to take away from Michael Jordan, but you know, hey Jordan, I'm sorry, man. Sorry, but you just hadn't been that good, brother. He's making the right decision. I agree. Be a minority owner because your name and what you stand for still is a big, big legacy. But yeah, let some other people come in.
What I would love for him to do though is to sell it to a black person. That's what I would love for him to do. Because I think we don't have ownership in half the sports in the league.
Right.
Man. We're probably if you put a percentage down to it, it's probably like 1 or 2% of ownerships that we have.
And I hope to God that he's thinking about doing that. I really think he should. You know, I really think he should. Great point. Great point. All right. I didn't want to talk about this, but I have to. And I hate criticizing Black athletes. I really do. I did not want to put this on here, but I put this on here for a reason because I do feel like this guy can play in the NFL. I really do think he can still play. Cam Newton announces that he was going to throw at the Auburn Pro Day. He adds, it ain't 32 MFs better than me, in reference to the NFL. Now, I agree with that statement to a certain extent. I agree with that statement. I do think he can definitely play in the NFL. If Carson Wentz can play, Cam Newton can play. And I'm talking about Cam Newton who ain't been playing and Carson Wentz who has been playing. Yes.
If Zach Wilson
exactly
on the team.
If Lord Jesus, our quarterback. I don't even want to get in it, but if the guys that play for us last couple of years can play other than Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton can play. But I put this on here because I think for Cam Newton, and I've told you this before, I've compared this to Carmelo Anthony. I told you for years, I know Carmelo Anthony can still play. But I think Carmelo Anthony finally got it in the sense that, yes, you can still play. Cam Newton, you can still play. You can help a team out, but you're not a starting quarterback. And that's why I think Cam kind of got himself thrown out of the league. I don't say thrown out of the league, but he kind of, to me, this is just my opinion, he kind of escorted himself out of the league, constantly saying that he should be starting. I don't think Cam Newton should be starting. Now, I think Cam Newton is a great addition as a backup to a young and upcoming quarterback. Preferably maybe a football team that runs a system that Cam Newton.
You know who would be perfect? Who you could be referred to? The New York Giants, man. The way Dable used to use Allen, I could see him playing certain roles with that big physical quarterback, plays and stuff like that. I would try to get on with the Giants if I was him.
Right. You know, Giants is a good example. I wasn't even thinking about that. You know, let's just say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm bringing this up, but let's just say the Texans bring in CJ or even Bryce.
Mhm.
Maybe they would run something similar to what Cam Newton used to run, as far as maybe, being a dual threat quarterback.
Mhm.
He could help with that. And he could be a viable backup in terms of a young kid like that wasn't getting it done, or if a young kid like that was getting hurt.
Mhm.
I think Cam Newton is a perfect backup in the sense that if somebody gets hurt, he can hold down an NFL team from 6 to 7, maybe 8 games.
I agree.
I look at him, he's still got freakish athletic ability in terms of his size and strength. I don't know about his legs.
Was it just me? But did you see his highlights the other day?
I didn't see him.
So they were showing him catching passes and stuff like that. I was like, he'd be a pretty damn good tight end, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he can still play just based on his athleticism.
Mhm.
As big, as strong as he is, and I still think he can play quarterback to a
Yeah.
certain extent, But this statement, I agree with it. Ain't 32 MFs better than me? But I think for Cam, much like Melo, I think Melo got himself back in the NBA because he just wanted to help a team. And he kind of let go of the notion that he should be starting on a team. And again, it all depends on perspective. I think Cam Newton can play, but I think what Cam Newton has to understand, if he wants to play, it's going to be in a backup or a secondary role. This whole notion of, and I get it, maybe it's some of it, as a player, you're supposed to believe in yourself. You're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm the baddest MF
Mhm.
out here. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that for him, I would love to see him in the NFL, but I don't want to see him in a starting role. Now, I think it's a storybook ending if somebody gets hurt and he steps in and it's like boom, 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 I think he would be great at that because of his experience, But
Mhm.
I don't want him to think, and I can't tell somebody how to think, but I just don't think he should consume his mind. Maybe he's not on being a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I think he can play. If Carson Wentz can play, he can play. If Matt Ryan is still playing, he can play,
Mhm.
So
They talked about how the Raiders were talking about bringing back Ben Roethlisberger. I just saw an article about that. Like there was points in time they considered it. That's where I sit there and I'm like, if you about to bring back Ben, because we saw how pitiful he was the last year he was there.
exactly,
Come
exactly,
on, that can't
exactly,
make that bad.
exactly. I don't think Cam Newton was nearly as bad as people made him out to be, but I don't think Cam helped himself when he was telling everybody he should be starting.
All
You know,
right.
you and some of it is Cam was so good at some point that when we started to see him, you know, decrease as far as his talent, people started really, really getting down on him because he was so good. I mean, that
Mhm.
season they went to the Super Bowl was the Panthers. I mean, he was phenomenal. And so I think people expected that to be for that to remain a couple of more years, and it didn't.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that on top of his narrative that he felt like he should be starting, it didn't help him stay in the NFL, in my opinion. I felt
Mhm.
like if he would have probably taken more of a humble role, maybe accepted he would still be in the league. And you never know. Who's to say that what happened with Geno Smith in Seattle might not have happened to Cam Newton if he would have humbled himself a little bit, you
Agreed.
know?
Agreed.
So I don't know, man. I hope somebody gives him a chance, but for me, I hope that Cam will accept the fact that he can play, but he's not a quote unquote starting quarterback. Now that's just my opinion. I don't know how you feel about it, but
No, I agree. I think that if he's smart, he'll try to play for a team. And I hate to say it like this, but he try to play for a team that has a quarterback known for injury, because that way he knows he's going to get a few games in, and that can be his opportunity where you go on a little 6-game winning streak. Now the veterans in the locker room starting to say, I don't want to switch back. We've been winning with
Right,
him.
right.
That could be his
Again, like I
his
was saying,
best track to
like
going
a
back.
Geno Smith. And
Yep.
here's just to add to what you're saying. That's a great point. If you're a starting quarterback and you believe it, take the backup role, and when it's your chance, prove everybody wrong.
Yep.
Don't talk about it, just do it.
Yep.
If you get that opportunity, just do it. Or go to training camp and blow everybody out of the water.
Yep.
Make people write about you in the sense that, man, this is, maybe this guy can. Or the narrative should be, man, Cam Newton really looked good in training camp. Not too much talking, come in shape, prove us wrong.
Yep.
But, I just feel that. I know he can definitely play, but I think it's just all about his perspective. I said the same thing about Camilo. All right. Want to get to this topic. I've been itching to get to this. I didn't get a chance to get to it last week when we talked about Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Let me ask you this. This is a big fight as far as casuals. And what I mean by casuals is both men are social media stars.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, Tank is the more proven. He is the pay-per-view star. Ryan has had a good social media following. I don't think his is just as big as Tank. Tank is on multiple platforms, the Shade Room, Twitter, and a lot of the hip hop community, which is a vast community, has accepted Tank Davis. I kind of liken Tank Davis to our new Mike Tyson of this era. When Tyson had all the draw in the 90s, the hip hop artists, co-mingled with him. He was an urban star because of where he came from and his style and everything. I see Tank Davis as being this generation's version of Mike Tyson. Ryan, he's got a lot of flack for being the pretty boy, the Instagram model.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, to his credit, since this fight has been announced, has done to me a great job in terms of selling this fight. Like, he's in the press talking about, how people are underestimating him. He's in the press talking about, he's bringing up things about Tank weight draining him. He's keeping that on people's mind. He's selling the fight. People are now starting to really gravitate to this fight, especially the casuals. But my question to you is this, and we could talk about this. We can debate about this. Whoever wins this fight, will the winner of Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia become the new face of boxing? And the reason why I asked that question is I think that this fight is very, very, very popular. And I'm talking about across multiple spectrums. Now, of course, there is no belt for the hardcores like myself. It's not much because there's no belt. There's nothing in terms of boxing that grabs the hardcore and says, this is for positioning, this is for a bigger purse, but this is for popularity. So I ask you again, and we could talk about this. If whoever wins this, do they become the new face of boxing? And when I ask this question, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm asking this question in terms of Tank. I mean, I don't think Ryan can be the face. I think Ryan, it would be one of the best upsets of all time in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say Tank Davis. We both pretty much agree that Tank is going to win this fight, or he should win this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And even now with the weight clause, he definitely should win this fight. But if he wins, in your mind, does he become the face of boxing?
I don't think he becomes the face of boxing. I think
Okay.
he becomes a bigger face in boxing.
So tell me why you don't think he becomes a face of boxing.
Because I don't think he's the best pound for pound boxer. I still think Canelo is probably the most popular boxer. I think Fury is probably the more popular boxer. And then I think he's slightly above maybe Shakur Stevenson. He's slightly above, maybe name-wise than Devin Haney. he's slightly above Nuai, no, the Asian
In a way.
cats. In a way, sorry. And I got to gauge his market because he has the overseas market as well. So I don't know like how popular, but I will say that I think his face could get bigger, but I don't think until he beats a major name will he really explode onto the scene. And I think a lot of his popularity is due to his connections with Floyd Mayweather, which made him popular as well. So nah, I don't think I think it's slightly bigger, but he won't be the face.
No, and I agree with you. I asked that question because, you know, underneath that I got what is the criteria for being the face of boxing? Okay. For me, it's Canelo. And for me, Canelo, he checks all of the boxes for me. We talk about being the face of boxing. Okay.
Mhm.
Number one, and I think Tank does have this. What is your gates? What is your pay-per-view vibe?
Mhm.
Are people paying to watch you? Are people coming out to see you? Regardless of your dance partner. And what I mean by your dance partner is Canelo Alvarez has been able to sell out pretty much every place where he's boxed within the last 10 years.
Mhm.
I think that's one criteria. I think Tank has that. And if he doesn't have that, he's right there on the brink of having that.
Mhm.
I think he's a big pay-per-view star. I think that's the only thing that puts him above Devin, Shakur. Even I would say even Fury. Fury is big overseas. He's trying to appeal a little bit more to the American public. And when I say that, I'm saying the casuals.
Mhm.
And those of us who watch boxing, we know that Fury is probably pound for pound the best in the world. But again, when you talk about pound for pound, you're not talking about heavyweights in a sense. But Tyson Fury, in terms of his boxing skills, and what he is across the pond is
Mhm.
big. He's the biggest star over there. Not quite sure if he's reached the American casual public. Boxing fans, of course. So I think Tank, in the sense of America, may be greater than Tyson Fury. But again, Tyson Fury is the heavyweight champion of the world. It's the most popular champion. I don't care who it is, if you got a great heavyweight champion.
Mhm.
So I think pay-per-view buys. Are you bringing people out to the stadium? Canelo. Another thing that Canelo brings as far as criteria of being the face of boxing. Canelo is his own boss.
Mhm.
Okay. And what I mean by that is Canelo makes his own moves. He makes his fights. I mean, he's got a promoter and all that, but he pretty much moves how he wants to move.
Mhm.
He's been he's undisputed in the 168-pound division. And Canelo has mandatories as far as those belts, but he can pretty much fight whoever he wants to, whenever he wants to. And it's rarely people that turn him down, you know? And I think Canelo can move how he wants to. That's the face of boxing. That's one of the characteristics. He calls the shots. Now, Tank is getting to that level, but Tank still has to kind of consult with PBC and Al Heyman. Even though he's not with Mayweather anymore, he still has to move within the PBC lines. Canelo can move how he wants to. What's another criteria of face of boxing? Number 3, I think Canelo, and you just alluded to this, Canelo has a better boxing resume.
Mhm.
Some people consider him the king of the world. He's been boxing for a long time. He's only lost, 2 fights, I think. 2 or 3 fights. Floyd, Bivol. Multiple division champion. Undisputed. One of the big reasons why he's on the pound for pound list is he's been able to move up and down divisions and pretty much win.
Mhm.
Got all the belts at one division. So a criteria for being a face of boxing too is your accomplishments. Tank doesn't have that.
Mhm.
Probably the last Well, that kind of, I was gonna say another criteria, but that kind of coincides with what I'm saying. I think Canelo, this goes back to him being his own boss. I think Canelo can fight anywhere he wants to fight. He can fight in Mexico. He can fight in Vegas. The people in Saudi want him to fight over there. So there's nowhere where it's a respectable boxing crowd, respectable boxing venue that he cannot go. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just think Tank and Ryan, I think if Ryan wins, it's just one of the best upsets of all time. Ryan doesn't have the resume to even be considered in that. Now, popularity wise, he will get up there. He's gonna get, I think his popularity is growing now just for taking on Tank. But Tank, to me, the boxing side and the being a boss side, he's not there yet. And
yeah, I think it really just comes down to, I think a lot of it comes down to giving the people what they want. All the people that were ever superstars in the boxing field was, Pacquiao gave the people what they wanted. Canelo gave the people what they wanted. Mayweather gave the people what they wanted, but on his time, but he was also entertainment.
Right.
Up to the fight and during the fight, he was even entertainment.
Right.
And
again, that's a great example.
People had like you're known for something. So you knew like Tyson was known to knock someone out in a couple seconds, in a couple minutes. So everyone wanted to see, is he gonna knock this next person out in less than a minute in the first round? And then you had George Foreman who stood up between rounds. Like everyone had that little thing about them that made them stand out a little bit more.
It was your character, the character that you put. Like, and that's why I say I think Tank is more comparable to Tyson as far as he's an inner city guy. I mean, it doesn't get more American than that with Tank. The inner city kid came from, that's what boxing is all about. It's inner city kids who were poor, who grew up, made something out of their lives. Boxing is an inner city sport. A lot of the kids that go to boxing are kids who poor socioeconomic status, come from broken families, homes like that. Tank fits that narrative. Same thing with Tyson. That's why I say I liken Tank to Tyson.
Yeah.
But even with Floyd, if you think about Floyd being the face of boxing, like Floyd for me was not only a character. People will when you go to a Floyd Mayweather fight, you were going there, you were a lot of people paid money to see if Floyd would lose. He created this character that I can talk all I want because I'm invincible. And when I go out here, I'm gonna beat these guys. I may not knock them out, but I'm gonna outclass them. And I'm the 24/7 character. I'm flipping money in the screen. I'm calling myself, I go from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. The 24/7 series on HBO. I got strippers in my house. I'm throwing money everywhere. Everywhere I go, I take you in my back. I see jewelry. You see all the jewelry, but you see,
he had his gimmick. He had his brand. He had a brand.
And so for those of us, for me, it was like, dude, that's the dream. Like, this dude gets to do whatever he wants to, but at the end of the day, he's still disciplined. He still boxes. Boxing is his life. But he's taking boxing and he's made millions on it. And he's showing us he got 50 cars in the garage, but then he had enough concentration to, I'm still gonna box 8 hours. I'm gonna work out. He worked out all the time. And so to me, and here's the funny part about Floyd, Devin Haney, Jermell Charlo, anyway, who you mentioned, they're undisputed. They've reached the highest goal you can reach in boxing. Right? You own all 4 belts of the major sanctioning bodies. Floyd was the face of boxing, and Floyd never went undisputed. He never owned off, but because he won so much and how he won, Floyd made me feel like he was undisputed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, wow, I think about it like.
And he's the only boxer to never lose a fight anyway. So
exactly. And so again, that's face of boxing stuff. But I just thought, this Ryan and Tank fight is getting a lot of traction. And I just wanted to know, because some people are saying that and I don't know how people would say that, but whoever wins this fight is the face of boxing. I still say it's Canelo by far. And I
I
think,
agree with you 100%.
right. I think if Canelo has to continue to fight, the biggest thing that could bring Canelo down, I don't think if he loses, I think if he starts to fight guys with diminished skills, like, he's fighting John Ryder. John Ryder is good, but he's not a name, but he's a mandatory for Canelo. People want to know if he's going to fight Bivol again. He's saying he's going to fight Bivol again. And then, the Benavidez and Plant fight is coming up. Many people think he should fight that winner. That's a WBC fight at 168, which is the division that Canelo is currently disputed in. So some people say if he's not fighting quality opponents like Bivol, if he starts not to fight people like Bivol or Benavidez or Plant, that it's time for him. His time is starting to wind up. So we'll see. That'll be the biggest thing for Canelo in order for me to lose his face of boxing status. All right, let's get to a couple of things I want to talk about, man. Let's get over to college basketball. I don't have to spend much time on these topics, but I want to get your opinion about this. So Rick Pitino has agreed on a 6-year deal to become St. John's men's head basketball coach. Now, how do you feel about that? We've known, of course, that Pitino was a winner, Kentucky. He had a stint in the NBA. I think he won a national championship at Louisville as well. And then he had the incident, of course. And then he kind of went down. I think he went to Iona, a couple of places. But I look at this move as like he's getting a second chance. He's back in New York City at St. John's. Wow.
And he was already in this area because Iona's only a couple.
Right. That's true.
Like a short
but
ride.
I mean, St. John's is a major basketball university in New York City.
So but I say he wins from a couple of standpoints. I was listening on Michael Kay show on the radio, and I guess one of the reasons why he wanted to leave Iona is because they're one of those conferences where you have to win the conferences and only the champion gets the automatic bid, even if you have a good season. And last year, when they had a good season, I think St. Peter's went because St. Peter's beat them. So that was one of the things that he hated about being in the conference, according to the Michael Kay show. What I think was a whack move by him was days before he talked about, I'm a Iona for life. I want a lifetime contract. Why don't you just say that, I would love to be here, but I don't know where my future is going to take me.
Right.
Because now and I agree with Michael Kalem said, it makes you look like a liar. Like when you leave, you're a liar. Like at the end of the day, like don't trap yourself by saying I'm here for life. I'm going to do this for life. Because when it comes to college coaches, you also got to know whenever you win and you have a great season, the next job is offered to you. You look at Shaheen Holloway, I think it was from St. Peter's last year. He ended up getting I think he took the Seton Hall job, if I'm correct or whatever, but he ended up going from a low end Division I to a higher end Division I. And that happens all the time. Anytime you start winning, the guy from, was it FDU?
Yes.
He just got an offer from, what was the offer from? It's going to come to me before the end of the show. He just got a new offer. You got the guy from Penn State had a great season. He just got the offer for Notre Dame.
Right.
So it's like you do good, you out. So, and I think you deserve it. I think a lot of times individuals are loyal to jobs, and I'm going to take it away from college. I just think people become loyal to jobs, but as soon as they need to cut a budget or as soon as they, something happens, they'll quick to replace you. So I think loyalty goes both ways. And I think once people start to realize that, and I think this generation is starting to get that, they're not loyal to anybody. They're about to, I'm about the growth. I'm about entrepreneurship. I'm about whatever. It's the same way, I think coaches got to think, and it's the same way athletes got to think. Because for years, coaches were allowed to leave and athletes were stuck. You tell me you get recruited by this one coach, a new coach comes in, he doesn't even want to start you no more when you were promised to start for 1, 2, 3 years, and now you don't even get minutes anymore, and then you can't leave, but this coach can leave whenever he wants. I like how they even the playing field and allow the transfer portal, allow you to get nil deals, allows you to do these things because you got these institutions making money off you, even if you don't go to the NBA or go play overseas. There's some players that bring the institution so much money, but they don't get paid for what the institution's getting off of them. So, yeah, I can't blame him. I'm happy for him. And St. John's is a great location for him. He's already, I think he got a guarantee from a 5-star athlete already from the New York City area. So, it's a good move for him.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm glad you said something about that because this is I want to get your opinion on this because you're boots on the ground with this situation. Is he good for New York City college for basketball?
I think he is because he's coached at on some of the biggest stages. And I think when it comes to recruiting, especially keeping homegrown talent, I think it's huge because you look at he coached with the Knicks, he coached at Kentucky, he
Right.
coached at Louisville, he
Right.
coached at I want to say Providence, and then he might have coached with Boston, if I'm not Boston College or one of them colleges before. And I think just his ability to recruit in all those places and win in all those places, I think people want to play for winners, and people want to play for coaches that have ties to other NBA players and people that they could bring in and train with them in the off season and meet and you know and who could even get them some time with coaches, GMs, and agents. So I think that's a big play.
Yeah, and that's why I asked because to me, I respect New York City 100 when it comes to high school basketball and high school talent.
Mhm.
And to me, and this is somebody coming from Houston, and I'll give y'all your props. Some people, New York City is the mecca when it comes to basketball, and to me, it should not be any reason why. Now, is St. John's still in the Big East? I think
Mhm.
they are, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. To me, it shouldn't. There should always be a powerhouse in college basketball in New York City.
Mhm.
I've always believed that.
The Big East should have never even broke up.
Exactly. And so I think he's good for New York City basketball and high school basketball because he's always recruited out of there, whether
Mhm.
he was in Kentucky, whether he was at Louisville. He's always got great talent out of New York City. I think New York
Mhm.
City is one of his hot spots. And so I think it's good for New York City in the sense that I think he'll definitely recruit New York City kids. And I think he'll definitely bring honor back to New York City basketball. And I think it'll be good. I mean, I give you a lot of flack about the city, but I think it'll be good to have great basketball back in New York City, just for the sport, period. I mean,
Mhm.
I say what I say about the Knicks, but it's always great to go play at Madison Square Garden when the Knicks are good.
Mhm.
Just the whole field, even from Jordan said it, Kobe said it, they all said they love to go play at the Mecca. But it's even more better when the Knicks are good, you know. So I think the same thing about St. John's. I think it's an excellent move on their part. I think it's good for him because it kind of gives him a shot back at the big time schools. He's
Mhm.
been a big time coach at big time schools for years. Um, I think he's good. I think it's good for not only New York City, but I think it's also good that he's going to put it's going to be another program on the rise, which is good
Mhm.
at college basketball. And it's no better place than New York City. So I like the hire. I
Yeah,
really
I
do.
love it. I love
I
it.
like the hire.
I love it.
All right. Let's stay on the East Coast with college basketball. And I'm really excited about this. Ed Cooley, which is Providence coach, former Providence coach, I believe, has accepted the Georgetown offer to be its next men's basketball coach. Now, how do you feel about this move? I like it. I definitely like it. I think he's been grinding at Providence. And I think Georgetown needs this. Um, I hate what happened to Patrick Ewing.
Mhm.
I think Patrick Ewing maybe suffers from the same thing we were talking about with Michael Jordan. It's
Mhm.
hard for great players to coach and come down to those kids' levels and bring them up because they're so great and their
I,
expectations
I'm
are.
gonna go a different direction with that. I actually think Patrick Ewing suffered from having to take a job to get a job.
Okay, explain
Um,
that.
Meaning that I felt like he was an assistant coach in the NBA for so long, and you see so many people come into the league that never coached and get opportunity. I felt like he was done wrong. And he's also one of those individuals that when you have to take those jobs, you don't take the best job. And when you don't get the best job, then when you fail at it, it's going to be hard for you to get the next job. If I'm even making any sense to you right now.
I get what you're
I'll give
saying.
you some
I get what
examples.
you're
Like
saying.
he was assistant coach on like 3 different teams, Patrick Ewing. Then you get someone like Brad Stevens. You get someone like the Charlotte Hornets coach. You get someone like Paul Silas's son. You get a whole bunch of people who haven't been in the league as much as Ewing, because Ewing played almost 20 years in the league, and then he coached for so many years, and you tell me he can't get a good job offer, and then he does, and then when you do take a job, it's kind of like what I said, like with Texas coach, he gets his first opportunity to coach, but he's coaching the Texans, a team that's horrible, and then if you don't do good in the first 2-3 years, they're gonna fire you, and that's gonna be the excuse.
Valid point. And what I mean by that is that,
but I do like the hire.
Yeah, that could have happened. The only reason why I'm going to disagree with you on that is it's Georgetown. It was his alma mater. I think he wanted to go back there and coach. I could be wrong. It's just not a coincidence to me that he went back to Georgetown. Now, if he went back to Arizona State, he went back to Rice, if he went to Hofstra, I would be on more board with that. Not saying that what you're saying it didn't happen.
I actually think he would have more success there. I think that when you play on the level of Georgetown, it comes down to recruiting. Like you can get away with a mediocre recruiting class and win in the Hofstra's conference.
But you got to look at it like this. I don't mean to cut you off though, but again, that's why it doesn't look good, because you went back to Georgetown. You were Georgetown's greatest player. Maybe anybody close to you would be Allen Iverson. But what Ewing did at Georgetown, so the popularity is there. So they're thinking when you came back, not only were you the greatest player there, you first ballot Hall of Famer, you were a dream team player. So your resume as far as a player is supreme. So they're thinking in their minds, Georgetown University, that should be enough to recruit. And it's a lot of talent in the DC and Baltimore area.
I rate college coaches different, because I think you can't separate recruiting from coaching. I think he can coach, but he can't recruit. I think that if he would have recruited Matt McClung and he would have took him to Binghamton, Binghamton would have won the conference multiple times. And he would have been like, yo, he's a great coach. He's over there. Because recruiting is so essential in college. He didn't have what it took, or he didn't have the people on the staff that could support him with the recruiting, man. Like,
I mean, like I say, that could be valid, but I'm just saying, looking at it from Georgetown standpoint, okay?
That was a great hire because it was alumni, the greatest.
And it's a great, right? And it was. I mean, let's just be honest. Big John Thompson, rest in peace. He developed that. He was the one that developed that celebrity status. Then his son comes after him, whom, much like his father, he kind of piggyback on he's a good coach, but he piggybacked on the Thompson name. But again, I think people from Georgetown are looking at it like, and I'm not saying that they're right, I'm just saying how it could appear. I mean, people are probably saying, you're Patrick Ewing, you're in the DC area where you were a king, you're a Hall of Famer. I mean, you should be able to go in the DC and Baltimore area, especially in DC with all the talent. You should be able to walk through there and say, I'm Patrick Ewing. And kids should come, and
I think in the day and age, he kind of caught the day and age where I felt like, one, people are one and done. 2, he started to get the transition of the transfer portal. 3, he started to catch the nil deals. And you got to think about like the academics at Georgetown is probably a lot harder than the academics at a lot of other places as well. I think there's a lot of pieces to it, man. I'll judge him on his recruiting and say his recruiting wasn't as great. I can't really judge college coaches, too many college coaches on their coaching.
But again, I mean, let's
who I judge on their coaching? College coaches on their coaching. When you have teams like, let's say, a Furman play a team like a Duke, and they beat a Duke, and they beat a Mike Krzyzewski, or they beat someone who's established, who has NBA talent players, NBA round 1 talent players on the team, but you come from a small end Division I school like a Vermont when they had like Copenrath and Sorenstein, and they knocked off a couple of teams as well. Those type of coaches, I'm like, all right, I'm actually like enamored by them. And one prime example is Danny Hurley. He coached in Buffalo, won in Buffalo, and then he went somewhere else, and then he ended up in UConn, and he does two things. He coaches very well, and he recruits very well.
So are you saying that to say this? And I'm asking you this. I don't know if this is, I'm trying to figure out. I think I know what you're saying, but I just want to get clarity. Are you saying that
I'm not going to indict Ewing on his coaching. I'm going to indict him on his recruiting.
okay, so do you think, I mean, just think about this. Let's just say you're Georgetown. In 6 seasons, right? His record was 75 and 109. He won 75, he lost 109 games. Would you have brought him back if you were in administration of Georgetown?
I have to take a lot of stuff into account. I know you might be thinking I'm making an excuse. I have to see how many players is he retaining, how many players he's graduating, what's the attendance look like, how much money is he bringing in? Because there's more roles to a coach as well. Like you got to do fundraising, you got to do clinics, you got to be able to recruit, you got to be like, are we in a better place? Have we grown substantially in certain areas? I think you have to take the whole entire thing.
But you're looking at it in terms of like, yeah, that sounds good. But again, let's just be real. Georgetown basketball is looking to win. The biggest thing at their university is basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're right. Graduation rates are good. What is the team doing in the community? What are we selling as far as seats? Right. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But let's just be honest. Georgetown, the number one money attraction there
is basketball.
It's basketball. And so if you just go from that, his record in 6 seasons, and they gave him 6 seasons to 75 and 109. I mean, how do you justify bringing him back? And if you bring him back, what is the time period that you give him?
I might give I think any new coach deserves 8 years. Because I feel like you're inheriting other people's players. And it takes 4 years to clean out that freshman class that they brought in.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
All right. I mean, it depends. It all depends, but it depends on how many winning seasons did he have in there. Like he could be 76 and whatever, but let's say his 3rd and 4th year were those winning seasons, and then his first 2 seasons or 3 seasons were horrible because that's not his team, that's not his recruits. And then maybe the last couple of years could be horrible. Maybe I might give him a little leeway because he took us to the tournament twice or whatever. I'm not sure. It varies. I think the argument varies for me because I don't count the first few years when you come into an organization because you don't have your players.
Yeah, but I mean, I get that point, but you're being biased because he was a Knick. Like nobody.
No, I'm not being biased. I have no problem with the hire. I have no problem with him being fired. I'm saying that
nobody's hiring anybody and giving them 8 years to turn a program around. That's not going to happen. That's not, that in college basketball.
But I'm not saying when I say 8 years to turn a program around, I'm saying I'm not going to fire him if in year 5 and let's say you said 6 years, in year 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 he won, even though his record is what it is, but he won and he even went to the tournament once. He might get a little bit extra time. I mean, I think it varies, so.
I think you're being biased. I mean, again, I'm not chopping him down. I think he's a great coach. I think he's an NBA coach. I don't think he's a college coach.
Yeah, that I agree with you, but that's what I was saying, that I don't think he's a recruiting coach. Like, I don't think he's built for Georgetown caliber coaching. I think he's perfect for Binghamton, Albany, maybe Hofstra, maybe a couple of these other schools where he can get some of the talent he would normally get at Georgetown that would thrive in the American East Conference, that would thrive.
You don't think he was getting the talent that he should have gotten?
I don't think he was getting the talent that he should have gotten. I think when you have,
I know you said it, but say it again. Why do you think he wasn't getting the talent?
I just don't think he's a great recruiter. And that could be one of my main reasons for getting rid of him. I have no problem with the move. I definitely don't disagree. And I wouldn't be mad if they brought him back either. I'm just saying that I think certain coaches do well because they just really good coaches. But in college, it's hard to be a really good coach in that level of where Georgetown is and be consistent if you can't recruit well, because it's the talent. Because Georgetown plays teams like Duke, they play teams like Syracuse, they play teams like Notre Dame, they play teams like Indiana University. They're not playing Binghamton and Maine and UMBC and all these teams on a regular basis where he could run up. If you throw that Georgetown team against them, he would probably be what, 20-5 in a season, or 20-11 in a season, or whatever. So
I mean, that's valid what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's hard because of who you competing against. Big East schools,
yeah.
as far as
And
recruiting.
talent wins. It's not always coaching, it's talent that wins games.
It just doesn't look right in terms of, I mean, man, I watched them. It was hard to watch them these last 2 seasons. I mean, they were bad.
No, I agree.
They won 4 games.
Then they lost Matt McClung to what? University of Texas or Texas Tech or something?
Texas Tech, yeah. And so it just didn't look well, It didn't look well. But I think he'll be back. But do you think Cooley is a good hire?
I think it's a good hire. I think Providence has had a lot of good seasons, and I think that they're catching someone who's up and coming.
So do you think that Cooley? Do you think it's a good hire by Georgetown simply because Cooley has sort of brought a historic program back? And when I say historic, I'm talking about in terms of the Big East, kind of brought them back to prominence because Providence has gotten better since he's been there. Do you think that's why Georgetown brought him over?
Yeah, I think so. And this is the affiliation with the Big East. I think there's a lot of
Recruiting.
Have that affiliation. You're usually recruiting from the same pockets of athletes. So I think they made a good move with him, and I'm glad they brought in a black man. So I think it's because I love to see us get coaching positions. I'm sorry, I love to see it. I don't want to be biased.
Right, and that's why I was kind of bittersweet on this topic, because I even though I think, when you look at what Patrick has been able to accomplish, it hadn't been much, but but
I don't feel bad for professionals who are rich, who also
no. I'm just saying, yeah, I agree with you. I feel bad for him because I know that's his alma mater and he wanted to do well.
Yeah,
but I feel good about them bringing in Cooley. I like him.
I agree.
I like him, and I think just like you said, his recruiting, he's recruited in the same area. I think he kind of knows the climate of the East Coast, where to go to get, and I think it's good. I think Georgetown did good with this. I think that's probably the best they could do outside of who Patrick Ewing is. And I'm talking about his celebrity status and who he is.
And Patrick Ewing, he'll land on his feet. He'll be
he'll be fine.
In the NBA.
Yeah,
he'll be assistant coach somewhere in the NBA, or maybe he'll go to Indiana and be assistant coach to Mike Woodson or something like that.
Right.
He'll land somewhere. I don't feel bad for him.
All right, let's keep moving on. Let's talk about what we talked about a little bit last night. Jaylen Brown on the Celtics' future. And shout out to you for bringing this article up. I believe you got a Bleacher Report, but he offers the following quote: "I will stay where I'm needed and treated correct." And he's talking about his future with the Boston Celtics. I told you last night, I'm a little bit worried about that. And the reason why I'm a little bit worried about that is, I will stay where I'm needed and treated correct. If I may have misquoted that, and if I did, I'm sorry. I don't like that language and that vocabulary for 2 reasons. For one, I think the Celtics should be doing everything they can to keep him. I think they've invested in him and the other guy, Tatum. I think they've invested in both of them, and I think they've gotten so close. I think they've gotten as close as you can get with those young players. And I think the best thing that those young players have gotten is experience in that. because they were supposed to win their finals against Golden State. But again, one of the things you have to do, the greatest thing you can do with young players is give them experience, because when you're coaching them and you're saying, hey, you should do this or you should consider doing that, when they don't do it, when they get to that championship experience there, they see that, okay, this is why coach is saying this. Why coach is saying, you know, I need to get up 1,000 shots a day. So this topic bothers me because from a team standpoint, I just don't understand why he would be talking like this. Now, he could be talking like this on his own, you know, but I just feel like I want to stay where I'm needed. Gives me just tones that everything is not as good between him and the Celtics.
I mean, Michael Wilbon brought it up today. Like, you tried to trade me for Durant. True. You know, like you threw that out there. You talked about how I think even Tatum wasn't even standing up for him and saying, you know, I want Brown. Like, it was like, oh, you're gonna go get Durant. There was no defense there. And I think that a lot of times fans haven't appreciated him as much as they could appreciate him. To me, in the finals, I actually thought he played better than Tatum. I thought Tatum disappeared a lot in the finals. So,
and I got that down as one of my reasons why they didn't win.
Yeah, and so when it comes to being Jaylen Brown, I can't blame him. You have an organization that's trying to sell you off, and you want me to be loyal? Like, where's your loyalty? You just signed me to an extension, or I'm extension eligible. You should be wanting to keep me, but you're telling me. And you try to trade me for Durant, who is 35 years old.
Exactly.
That's, to me, I take that as disrespect. You telling me I'm 25, 26 years old, averaging 27 a game. Averaging 27 a game, just came from the NBA Finals, and you trying to trade me for an older player who's been off injured.
And
I got you.
Right. And at the end of the day, I've been here every day. I show up on time. I've been a professional. Gotten better every year. My numbers have gotten better every year.
Yep.
Now I'm an all-star, you know, and some people would consider me in the top tier of the NBA as far as players now. So I definitely get it. I think the Celtics need to correct this. And I don't know if they can.
I don't think they will, and I don't think they can. I actually think he will get traded in the offseason. I think they need to look at players like Bill. I think they need to look at players like Trae Young. I think they need to look at packages where they could dump salary. I think they could even take they could take, you know, let's say freaking Grimes, RJ, and 2 draft picks. They could take Jimmy Butler or Tyler Hero and 2 or 3 draft picks, but they got to do something where they're not leaving Tatum with nothing, you know.
So is it safe to say, it sounds like what you're saying is this relationship is not repairable?
I don't think he's gonna stay. They could throw the bag at him, but I personally don't think he's gonna stay. There's already stuff from a lot of NBA players talking about the Boston crowd is racist and all this other, and you know he's big on the Black Lives Matter movement. So I could see him going to play in Atlanta and trading DeJounte Murray or trade for him. I could see him going playing in LA because I think that's where he went to school, was in LA. I could see him getting traded for a lot of teams out there, you know. So I could see Boston trying to throw him and to get a package for Dame Lillard. You know, Dame Lillard hasn't won in Portland. People like to see him win. You put Dame Lillard with Tatum, oh my goodness.
Actually, not that bad.
and that will allow Portland to re-up too, and let Simons be the point guard. Let Jaylen Brown be the starting 2 guard in the face of the organization. Like, there's some moves out there to be made. He's a talent. He's a top 15 talent in the NBA to me.
Well, I'll tell you this. Yeah, I think you got a lot of validity in what you just said. I don't think it's repairable either. And I think if he goes, I think it's the downfall of the Celtics. Now, you can bring in
the Celtics if they don't get something back. I think there's
but you got to think about it like this, though. And I'm saying this, and hear me out on this. I think what makes that team go is he plays a big role on how that team is built. Because, see, now, not only are you losing your second leading scorer, you're losing defense.
Athleticism.
You're losing a ton of athleticism. You're losing
versatility.
versatility, but you're losing mental toughness on both ends of the floor. And so he's one of those big pieces that, just like you said earlier, your point about he played better in the finals than Tatum. To me, he showed me a lot of toughness. And I think he, maybe along with Smart, it's really the personality of that team, why they're able to get far and why they're able to win difficult games. So I think if he goes down, I think you got to revamp the team. Even if you get Dame Leonard in for him. Let's just hypothetically say that. I mean, Brown is so versatile. Dame Leonard is tough. But he's 6'1", 6'2". You're losing a 6'7", 6'8" guy that can swing both ways. If you lose that piece, you know, it would kind of be similar. I may be stepping out on a ledge when I say this, but it would kind of be like in Chicago's years with Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen. It'd be kind of like if you're losing Pippen.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, so I think that would be a main key. You know, in The Last Dance, they talked about how when Pippen was when he was hurt, how Rodman had to step up. That hurt the Bulls because of all the peripheral things that he brings. I think Boston goes down with that. I really do.
I think if they get Lillard, I don't think they go down.
Well, I mean, they get Leonard, of course. They get dynamite scoring. They get a big time guard. But again, they had a big time guard in Irving. And I think what makes that team go is the big part of that team
is Brown.
Yeah, it's Brown.
But I think Dame would definitely actually make them better. In this case, I think Dame is so dynamic and he doesn't miss games like Irving. Irving's different. Irving was inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they won't be a playoff team. They'll definitely be a playoff team. But I'm just saying so much of that team's attitude, so much what puts them over the top is their toughness and their versatility. When you lose that, that's going to hurt. Now, Dame Leonard can step in. He can score. He's a big-time point guard. Yes, they still will be one of the top teams in the East. Not saying that. But when you talk about going against teams like Milwaukee in the playoffs, that's going to be a grind. You know, you talk about going against Philadelphia. Even the Knicks. Could you imagine the Boston Celtics? And let's just say this. The Knicks have beaten the Celtics in the regular season with Jaylen Brown. Now, just imagine if New York just continues on the trajectory that it's going right now. Everything is going. Let's say New York gets another player in a 7-game series without Jaylen Brown. Even if you got Dame Leonard,
I'm scared. Dame Lillard.
No.
Steph Curry put fear in my heart, yo.
No.
They put fear in my heart.
Dame puts fear in my heart, but I'm just saying this. You take Jaylen Brown off that team in a 7-game series against the New York Knicks, it evens it out a little bit more. Because even if Dame does what he does, Jalen Brunson is going to be right there. Jalen Brunson is going to be right there.
Then you just throw Marcus Smart on him.
Smart can't stop him. Nobody, and I'm giving you credit for your point guard. Nobody stops him. Okay, let's just be honest. Now, Smart can make it difficult, but if you get the New York Knicks on the trajectory that they are right now with Julius and how they're playing, and they add one more tough piece,
I agree.
You take Jaylen Brown off their team, New York is better than Boston.
No, I definitely
on record and say that, because so much of Boston toughness is in Jaylen Brown and his versatility, along with Smart, Al Horford. But the heart of their toughness is Jaylen Brown. I'm sticking with that.
No, I definitely agree.
All right, let's move on to a couple more, then we'll wrap up. All right, I want to ask this question. Since the trade from the Suns, is Mikal Bridges one of the best players in the NBA since he came over from the Suns? Consider this. He is now averaging, since he's been over there, not for the whole season.
Yeah, I know.
Brooklyn, 25.9 points a game. 16 games. 43% from the three-point line. Now, other than as far as all the stats put together, nobody's playing better since the All-Star break, since the kid from Oklahoma City, Gilgeous-Alexander. But since the trade from Phoenix, can we say that he's been the best player or one of the best players in the league?
I could agree with that. I like his versatility. I like the way that he plays both sides. He defends. He can shoot.
Because I mean, let's be honest. I didn't know this, and part of me not knowing is me not following. I knew he was capable of giving you a 20-point, 30-point game. I didn't know that he could string off this amount of production offensively wise. And when I thought about it in Phoenix, they didn't ask him to score. They asked him to defend because he could.
Spot up, defend the spot up.
Right. Now, Brooklyn is asking him to do whatever they need him to do to win, whether it be offensively, defensively. I didn't know he was this good offensively. I did not know. I mean, if he continues, and here's the scary thing about Bridges. He's already an Iron Man. He doesn't get hurt. And Brooklyn is asking him to score more. You know he's going to be there. He's showing you that he can average 25 points a game. I mean, by this time next year,
he's gonna work on this game in the off. He a Villanova cat. He's gonna work on this game in the off.
By this time next year, he could very well be an all-star. He could be in the conversation of most improved. He could possibly be in the conversation, and I know I'm stepping out on a limb on this. He could possibly be in the conversation. He might get some MVP votes. Because at the end of the day, you ain't gonna like this.
What you got in that coffee cup over there, man?
What you mean?
MVP votes. What you talking about?
He could possibly, Gerard, what he's doing. Listen to what I'm saying. In 16 games, he's averaging almost 26 points a game.
Yo, order me that same coffee. What is that? A vente?
Okay. All right. Laughing. You laughing. Okay, let me ask you this.
No, but I do like his game. I'm not knocking you because I'm a big Mikal Bridges. I'm a big Villanova fan. So, like, I will say that I do see his game. I wouldn't say MVP voting. I wouldn't say that. I think he's far from that. But I agree with everything else you said.
You got to agree with what I'm saying on the. I'm saying he could get a few votes. Think about it like this. Think about his skill set. You ain't gonna like this, but he might be better than Julius. He could be better than Julius.
I think overall, and I think long term, and the reason why I give you because I think he's more efficient, and I think he'll play more D, and he's less selfish as a player.
And I think
he makes the right plays. And
I think he shoots better. I think he shoots better threes.
I agree.
So with that case, how am I out of bounds with that? Julius
out of bounds because it's a small sample size.
Like it's a small sample size, but what I'm giving you, the data I'm giving you.
No, I agree. If he does this next year, but
here's the thing about it: what he's been able to do when they take the handcuffs off of him offensively.
I agree, but I just think that I agree with everything you said. You just can't put him in the All-Star conversation. Okay, conversation.
Okay, well, hear me out on this though. What he's been able to do, he's a Villanova guy. He's gonna stay in shape. He's gonna work out. Okay, what he's been able to do. And consider the fact of this. He is going to be there. He's not going to be hurt.
I agree.
That is a recipe for being one of the best players in the league.
I agree.
So it's not out of
I could agree with your statement if he does it from the start to finish of next year, but
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He could be.
So if you say next year, I thought you talking about.
No, I'm not saying this year.
No. So next year,
I'm saying if he continues what he's doing now, that's what I said. By this time next year, he could be amongst those talks.
I agree with you.
Yeah, not this year. No,
I thought you meant this year. So
I think he averaged like 13 points.
Yeah, that's what I said. I thought you meant this year. I'm like, I can't.
No, I said by this time next year. No.
Okay. My bad. I misheard you.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that. Don't do me like that.
No, my bad. I just wonder, I just want the same venti you have, man.
Oh man. All right, let's do a couple more, then we'll get up out of here. All right, let me ask you this. Do you agree with this statement by Dylan Brooks of the Memphis Grizzlies? Dylan Brooks said this on Kyrie Irving. He's just like Kobe. He's just like Jordan, those guys. He plays the game at a different pace. He uses both hands. He's a mid-range guard. And then he asked, that's where I want to be one day, being able to shoot the ball more, meaning Dylan Brooks in comparison to Kyrie Irving. But how do you feel about his comparisons to Jordan and Kobe?
I think as an offensive player, I don't think Kyrie has any weaknesses. And I think that's the comparison he was trying to make. I don't think that he was saying that he's on their level. I think Kyrie messed up his legacy because I think he could have went down as a top 5, top 10 player had he would have stayed healthy and played more games, even in college. Like, I'd never seen someone just with a small sample size of college do what this dude was doing at Duke. And then in the NBA, I have never seen anyone with that package that he has ever. I seen Isaiah Thomas nice. I seen Kevin Johnson nice. I seen freaking Josh Strickland with some nasty game to him. Like, I seen Tim Hardaway, but all of them, either they had the handle with an inconsistent jump shot or they had the jump shot without that crazy handle.
Together. Right.
Yeah, but I could see what he's saying because there was no weaknesses. They had a counter for everything. You do a double team at Kobe, or he wasn't able to shoot it, then he's gonna put you in the post. You know, like Kobe just his footwork was like and Jordan's footwork were like centers, and that's the same thing with Kyrie. The only thing that made Kyrie better offensively is that he has a better jump shot than both of them.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that. I agree, man. I just think that, you know, his mental makeup in terms of stuff off the court, vaccine situation, I think it kind of tarnished him, his legacy. But I mean, you're talking about the handle of Isaiah Thomas mixed in with Tim Hardaway, maybe a little bit of AI.
Yeah, and Rod Strickland.
you talk about the body control of Rod Strickland. How Strickland was able to bump, hang in the air, crazy finger roll. You're talking about the shooting ability of man, he can
Benny Microwave Johnson,
something like that. And I mean, even better than that.
Yeah, Mark Price.
You talk about the elusiveness of Iverson, all rolled up in one. Yeah, you don't stop Kyrie. You don't stop him. You just hope that you can make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
One thing I say about his game too, his one thing that makes you great as a guard is his balance. His balance. How he's able to lean, move, be shifty on top of, you know, things like hours and hours of ball work is incredible.
It's not just that, it's his counters. He's like that boxer that counters everything. Like I'd never seen someone change trajectories of shots, change dribble, change angles in less than a half a second. Like he doesn't go there thinking like, okay, I'm gonna come to the hole, I'm gonna do a Euro step. He just goes with whatever is given to him. If 3 people jumping in front of him right away, he does something like you just never seen before, and it's just amazing, man.
Right. Here's
that's born. You're born with that gift to do something.
I can liken it to 2 players I've ever played against. One was a dude named Devin Hester in junior college, where him and a lot of people ain't gonna agree with this, but I've seen this, and AG. I used to play, me and AG used to play a lot of one-on-one full court. Shout out to Anthony Green. But what was difficult about playing against those 2, and I'm gonna go with Ant, because I played against Ant more than I did Devin Hester. It was so hard to guard Ant because, and it was kind of like what you said in terms of he always had a counter. I can remember playing against Ant one-on-one full court, and I can remember him coming down. Okay, one possession, he'll show me this. Okay, I'll stop that. Next possession, he'll counter that. Okay, I'll stop that possession. Come down another possession, he'll show me something else. And let me rewind. I'm not saying I stop it, but I'm recording this, the move that he did. So when he comes down the next possession, I'm not going to let him do that. Just every time I stopped, or every time I put in my mind to stop that, he had another counter move. So it'd be like, all right, I take his jump shot away. I sit on his hip when he's getting ready to pull up so he can't pull up on me. Quick enough to react to get back that if he goes for the pull up and I don't, he'll give me a hesitation move. I may not go for it. He'll give me a hesitation move. He'll give me a crossover. This is all in the same possession. Kind of hesitate on the crossover. I'm still there. Then when he crosses back over to his right, he's getting ready to pull up. And he sells that pull up to where I'm kind of leaning, not jumping. But then he crosses over again. I get back in the nick of time. He crosses over again and lays it up. And it's like, no matter how much I'm there, he has a counter move and another counter move. And it's kind of like in my mind, I'm saying to myself, it's difficult to guard that because I, in my mind as a defender, cannot imagine somebody giving me 4 hesitations in a row, fake a jump shot, and then all within the same possession, have enough balance and awareness to just give me an in and out and lay it up. Like, that's too much creativity and balance for me as a defender to combat. Because again, when you're playing offensive players like that, you have to react. You don't know where they're going. You know what I'm saying? And usually with most players, it's like, the difficult players is like, okay, he just beat me because he was just quicker on that possession. Know how to adjust. Or he knows how to do this move or something like that. But the hardest guys to guard, that's why I say AG is probably the closest thing to Kyrie I've ever played against, is that he has so much creativity in his mind with his moves that it was like he would counter the third counter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he just has a great feel for the game. Like, his feel for the game is just natural. Like, certain things you're born with. Like, you watch Lamar Jackson and just the way that the game just slows down for certain dudes. And what you're saying, the game is just so slow for him. It's in like slow motion.
Well, it's slow motion, but the thing about AG, what was so difficult about that is like Kyrie, he had a lot of balance, but he was never off balance. There was never a counter move he couldn't do. Like, you know, sometimes somebody cross you over 4 or 5 times, you're like, it's like, all right, he can't pull up quick after that. You know what I'm saying? Just the law of physics of him doing this and how his feet are moving is like, okay, he going to the basket. You know what I'm saying?
It's like battle rapping. Like, someone gives you a topic, or someone says something to you and you just come back.
Right. It's like Garden Ant was like, it was so hard to anticipate what the next move was going to be. And even if you felt, it was like a chess match. Even if you did anticipate that next move, he could counter off that move. So it's kind of like it was balanced, and then he was just out thinking you. And it was just like, I just hope he missed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope he missed. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm giving Ant a lot of love. All the times that we played against each other, and I'm talking about, these are like times in gyms where it was just me and him. Like, I was so happy to block his shot. Like, probably out of the 10 or 12 times that we played, like, I'm just saying, like, consecutively, we go against each other. I'll say 10 to 12 days. I may get one block. If I get a block shot on him, I was happy. Because it just means that either I guessed right, which was highly unlikely, or he just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I get from Kyrie Irving. It's like, you don't stop him, you just hope he misses, or he doesn't concentrate. You know? But I agree with the statement by Dillon Brooks. All right. A few more here. 2 more. How do you feel about this statement from Stephen A. Smith? Stephen A. Smith says Damian Lillard should have left Portland years ago. Damian Lillard is one of the great guards in this game he has ever seen, meaning Stephen A. He's given the organization everything he had. It hasn't worked. He should have been left that organization. And then Leonard, I want to put this in here. Well, we'll talk about that later. How do you feel about that statement? How do you feel about that? Because I've said this, I've gone on record and said this before. I can appreciate Dame Leonard sticking with the organization because in today's climate, you know how it is. We grew up in the 90s, not used to guys moving around like this for championships.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest criticisms about Durant. So it was kind of refreshing to me to see a guy like Dame Leonard with his status and the work that he's put in to stick with a team.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, when I saw this quote from Stephen A. Smith, I said to myself, it's some validity to this quote in the sense that, you know, why stick around in Portland if they're not, it doesn't seem like, I don't know if they're not trying, but they just can't put a winning team around it. It could be the market. It could be Portland. You know, I mean, I think the closest they've ever gotten was when him and CJ were there. They ended up getting to the Western Conference Finals, and they just ran out of gas. I think they got swept.
He was injured, and he also
Oh,
played.
he wasn't injured.
No, he did that series. He did pull his groin or his hamstring. He wasn't 100%.
But he was playing though.
Yeah, but he was playing. He ain't never gonna make an excuse.
Right.
But I also think it wasn't so much that him and CJ couldn't do it. You can't beat Curry, Durant, and Klay Thompson with him and CJ. Like he just ran up against mega teams. Like every year was a mega team he played against. So,
but do you think it's a validity to this? Should he leave Portland? Should he think about leaving Portland?
I think I personally love the fact that he's not asking for a trade, but I think Portland management should be like, you know what, we want to do right by him. He's done right by us. And honestly, I think this is where all GMs, and I think I said this to you a long time ago, this is where all GMs go wrong. They hold on to stars too long, and then they lose trade value, and then you can never rebuild your organization because, you know, getting that number one pick is hard. And then when getting a top 3 pick or even a number 1 pick, sometimes it's hard to choose the right one. So just the fact that he still has ultra value right now is the time you recoup on something like a Jaylen Brown, and you say you're going to be the new face of the organization. You go get someone like a Donovan Mitchell when you had a chance to get Donovan Mitchell or one of these other players, because at the end of the day, Dame is what, 31, 32, 33?
Either early 30s.
Somewhere early in the 30s. Like he probably has 2 of these seasons left of what he did this year. Maybe 2, maybe 1. And then I think he'll start fading down to maybe 25 a game, 24 a game, like whatever. But I think he definitely has another season like this where he could dominate because he's not really injury prone outside of, like, you know, his abdomen, like he had an ab issue, like a hernia or something like that. But I also think management just needs to do right by him and do right by themselves, because Portland's not a destination, a premier destination where people say they want to sign. So
well, I think I've said this about him. I think he should leave because
he's not going to ask, though.
I know he's not going to ask, but you know, the narrative could turn, and I know he doesn't care about the narrative, you know, but the narrative could turn that, you know, maybe he's not all about winning.
Yeah.
Believe that, you know, but I think he should, because for me, I hate to see a guy put in that much work, and we know every year they're either going to make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round, or they're not going to make the playoffs at all. I mean, for God's sake, he scored 71 points this year from the perimeter, pretty much. I mean, do you know how much skills you got to be in, high in shape you got to be to score 71 points? And so I just don't. I think Portland has tried. Aldridge, Brandon Roy, CJ.
Yeah.
I think they've tried. I just don't think for the market they're in that they can land another superstar there. I think he should go somewhere else. I think Philadelphia would be a good place for him to go.
Yeah.
I'm not so sold on Boston because I just think the way Boston is built, I think Jaylen Brown would be it would just be a big blow to me if they lose him. I could be wrong. Boston is not a bad team for
I
him.
think Tatum is that good. I just think adding Lillard, I don't see nobody else having a better 1-2 punch in the East.
I disagree. I say Philadelphia.
Well, who, Harden and Maxey?
Yeah.
Nah.
I would try to hold on to Maxey. You know? Or here's the thing. Harden wants to go to Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do a three-way.
With Jaylen Brown?
Do a three-way. No, I'm talking about Philadelphia. Send Harden to Houston. Send Dame to Portland. Send Jalen Green to Portland and start over.
I think they probably give up Porter before they give up Jalen Green.
One of them,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, one of them. But, you know, no, I think Dame Leonard and Joel Embiid with Maxey, I think that's good. I think Philadelphia will be good for him because they'll embrace him. He's a tough kid, meaning Damian Leonard. He's a guard. East Coast love guards. And I think he'll be big in the Eastern Conference. You know? Yeah. And I think that's what Philadelphia needs. I think Philadelphia.
I think if they get a Dame, I think personally, Dame with Giannis, Dame with Embiid, Dame with Tatum, Dame on the Knicks. I think Dame anywhere in the East is an automatic.
Yeah, but I mean,
at least championship.
I mean, Milwaukee's they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna go for Dame in the offseason.
I'll give up Drew and I'll give up Middleton.
That's what you would do. But I'm just telling you, they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do it. They don't need to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Philadelphia will be perfect. But hey, we'll see. All right, let's get to our last topic. Let's get to March Madness. Now, of course, this has been a great tournament. And what I mean by that is what I love about this tournament, and it's definitely playing out this year, is that the upset alert is always there. And two questions. Number one, why do you think this tournament, why is it so many upsets this year, in your opinion?
I just think there's a lot of parity in college. I think a lot of teams you can't really build team in college. You build teams for the year. And you get lucky if you can build that chemistry, find the right pieces, find a superstar to build around. But it's just too much parity. And then I think the smaller schools have more consistency because those players can't jump straight to the NBA. So then they're able to work on their body, work on their game. And those players that were 2-star, 3-star recruits end up being 5-star recruits after getting that playing experience. So I just think it's the parity versus the high school All-Americans that come on and then they're playing against college players who are 3-4 years in, like a Drew Timme at Gonzaga, who's pretty much a grown man being there, 3 years and hitting the weight room and all the other things. So just college has a lot of parity. So I think that's why they're able to have such great games.
And I'm going to add on to that. I think that, and that's why I love college basketball so much. I think the kids, i.e. AAU organizations, i.e. what's going on around the country is this. I think kids are realizing this, and I hope this goes on in football. Football to me is it's getting there, but football is still, most of the best kids are still going to the same schools. In college basketball, when you talk about parity, and I agree 100% with you, I see the kids within the last 10 to 12 years, I see kids waking up and saying, I'm an All-American, or I'm one step below an All-American. I'm being recruited by UConn. Gerard is being recruited by UConn. Gerard is a 5-star. I'm a 4-star. Now, we can all go. I can go to UConn, but I probably won't get a legitimate chance to play because they have upperclassmen that are playing too. I probably won't get a legitimate chance to play, get some minutes my sophomore year, my junior year. I'll get a chance to play. I think those kids are going to the mid-majors. I think those kids, talking about your point of parity, I agree. I think those kids are saying, I'm going to go somewhere where I can play now. Not to mention, I mean, previous to this season, the transfer portal and all that. But I think, and I even say that with the coaches. You got coaches that are not necessarily going to the Blue Bloods. They're going to Marquette's, Shaka Smart. They're going to these places where I would be an assistant coach over here at Syracuse. But if I go to Marquette, if I go to George Mason, they'll give me the full they'll give me the head coaching job. So I think coaches and players, we talk about your point of parity. I agree 100%. I think coaches and players in the college basketball climate are understanding that I can go to a mid-major school and I can play now. I can average 20 points now versus if I go to a Syracuse, if I go to a Duke, I'm going to sit on a bench. So I agree with you. That's to your point of parity. So that's why I think the tournament is such a successful place, because at the end of the day, we don't know nationally how good Princeton is because of the exposure. But we find out in the tournament. We find out that they're pretty good, which leads me to my final question. Why does it seem like, in your opinion, that Princeton is always on the upset alert in the NCAA tournament?
Because they have a culture, they fit in a system, and they know how to get certain players. I think a lot of teams that are continuously good, just like you have Vermont. Vermont constantly got the same type of player, ran the same type of system. You create a culture, everyone buys in, and that's how you win. It's even when you look at Tom Thibodeau. Everywhere he goes, same type of players. Luol Deng, hard worker. One dominant guard that takes a lot of shots and dominates the ball. Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose, Jalen Brunson, and then you have your inside man who's Robinson and Joakim Noah, and like he has a system. Same thing you said earlier with Pat Riley. He looks for defensive-minded people, gritty people who are in shape, has a system. You must play defense when you come here. You must play hard 100% of the time. When you find and you create coaches like that, that's what Princeton has. That's what some of these other college, smaller Creightons and schools like that consistently make these tournaments. They create a system, a culture. Shaka Smart, wherever he goes, he always goes to the playoffs. There's another coach that Ralph Sampson, wherever he was, created the same coach. Bob Huggins, when he was there with Cincinnati. It was always a style of play, huh?
Kelvin Sampson. You said Ralph Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson. Sorry, I was thinking of the basketball player. Right. Sorry, but Kelvin Sampson.
Like to stop disrespecting Houston, man. You always, when it comes to Houston, you always get the name wrong. You always saying the wrong. Like, stop, dude. I honestly think you always taking shots at us, man.
No, not taking shots.
Ralph Sampson. I don't think Ralph Sampson has ever coached.
I was giving props to I was giving props to your baseball team, the Houston Comets. I mean, Astros. I mean, you get what I'm saying? I was giving props to y'all, yo.
Why he's being funny, ladies and gentlemen. But let me add to that. I think, in particular with Princeton, I'm gonna get a little bit more specific than you. I think you're right. In general, it is a culture. But to add to that, I think a school like Princeton, I think the reason why they're always on the upside of the upset alert is the style of play that they play. Most teams in the NCAA don't face that style, and it's a very difficult style to play. And it's a style that anybody can be beat on any day, any given day with that style.
Like a triangle offense.
Well. And not just that, it's not a triangle offense, but it's
not. I'm just saying.
But I mean, yeah, the concept of what you're saying, I get what you're saying. It's a style that it's very uncomfortable to guard because, for one, nobody stands still, constantly moving. You can't key on one particular player being a ISO guy, so you can't double a guy. They don't hold the ball a long time. The ball is constantly moving. So on defense, you can never relax. And when you're not used to playing against that conference play on your schedule, it's very difficult to play like that, play against that one day. And most of the time in college basketball, we look to the superior athletes and the superior skilled players, but particularly the superior athletes dominate. But against Princeton, it's the style of play. You cannot relax. You can't key in on one or two players. They're constantly moving the ball. They're constantly moving. And I just don't think most teams collectively on the defensive end not used to playing against that every day.
Yeah.
I remember playing against a team, like I think we played Colgate, something like that, or Dartmouth one of those Ivy League schools. We ended up losing to Dartmouth. Now, we had no business talking about Binghamton University. We had no business losing to them. But we went up to their school and they constantly moved. They constantly back cut. They constantly, you couldn't pressure them, because if you pressured, somebody was cutting back door. They didn't hold the ball. There wasn't one guy dribbling all the time. They didn't run the same 5 plays. It was constant movement. And most college basketball teams and college basketball programs are not used to playing that style. Outside of the Ivy League, most of them are not used to playing that style. And so you scout them. You don't have enough time to scout them. It's a tournament. And you're running your plays, you're running your scouting report in the hotel. And I'm talking about Friday.
You're in the lobby.
Right. I'm talking about, I'm talking about in the tournament where you don't have time to prepare. I'm talking about you went on Friday night, Princeton plays after you. Your coach has to stay there and scout Princeton. Then you have to bring it back to the hotel for Saturday to run your team through it in the hotel. And then you got to go play them on Sunday. And it's like, you need time to practice and play against that style. And I just think they're always on the other side of the upset alert, because just like you said, the culture, but I go a little bit more specific, Duke doesn't play against that every day. Syracuse doesn't play against that every day. U of H doesn't play against that every day. And it's hard to play against guys that are constantly moving and guys that constantly are sharing the ball. So I just want to point that out, man. I think, that's the key to why Princeton is always on the upset alert. Now, they'll run into a team that's much more superior as far as athletic abilities, and they'll get beat. But they're going to mess up. I think they're going to continue to mess up people's brackets because of how they play and the culture that they have.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so before we wrap up, big fight this weekend. Well, for the hardcores. I mean, not for you Tank fans, but for the hardcores. David Benavidez is fighting Caleb Plant in a 68 division super middleweight. And it's a WBC sanctioned fight, which means that the winner of this is an eliminator to another title shot. For Caleb, it would be another title shot at Canelo. For Benavidez, which a lot of people think Canelo is ducking, it'll be his shot at the WBC to fight Canelo Alvarez. Do you know anything about this fight? And if you do, who do you think wins?
I know. I haven't watched a lot of Caleb Plant, but I've followed a little bit of Benavidez. I'm sorry about the name, Benavidez. I got Benavidez winning. I think it'll probably go all the way, though. I have a feeling it's going to go all the way 12 rounds. So.
Right now, and that's the Vegas pick. That's the popular pick because Benavidez is bigger. He's a pressure fighter. To be honest with you, I was leaning in that direction, but I don't know, simply because Benavidez, Caleb Plant is a boxer. Great footwork. He moves, a lot of head movement, everything. So while most people say, well, Plant has faced a pressure fighter. It was Canelo, but Canelo's pressure is different. Canelo's pressure is more mental, whereas David's is more physical. What I mean by that, Canelo wears you down with his mind, how he places punches and the strategy. But Benavidez, he wears you down because he's a big 168 pounder that constantly puts pressure on you, and he walks through your punches. But at the same time, I'm starting to lean towards Plant because Plant, even though Plant has never seen nobody like Benavidez has never fought anybody who moves with footwork, who puts together great combinations, who has head movement. He's never fought a boxer like Plant. So I'm going to think about it a little bit more. I'll let you know, but I'm just not so convinced that everybody is on Benavidez. Because again,
it's gonna go 12 though. It's gonna go 12.
It could. It could. but we'll see, man. You know, I think if Benavidez wins, I'm happy for him because it looks like Canelo won't be able to. People say Canelo is ducking him. Canelo came out and said that Benavidez hasn't done anything yet, but it would be his shot. And I think if Caleb wins, he definitely deserved it. He lost to him, came back. If he wins, it'd be 2 big fights. He knocked out Anthony Durrell, and if he beats Benavidez, I think it'd be prime. I don't know if Canelo would fight him, but it would be a mandatory for Canelo in the WBC. I hope so, man. I really do. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. It's not getting that much publicity because much like you Tank fans, you know, everybody talking about Tank. Hey, JT, hey, come here right quick. Because I got to ask you this. And Cole, I'm going to let you go because I got to get another Tank fan in here because I definitely got to ask this question. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome JT the Golden Child in here. And I definitely got to get him in here because, you know, he's a Tank fan. And I'm going to ask you, first of all, it's good to see you, brother.
Yes, sir. Good to be here. Good to be here.
I'm going to let you go because I know East Coast, but hold on. Don't get off yet. All right? Don't get off yet. Just give me just 5 minutes, Cole.
What up, Cole?
What's good, man? How you been, man?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain.
Yes, up in the camera, man, because I got a question.
Okay.
I asked this question last week, and I actually was watching this question. Watching this. All right, Cole, can you give me 5 minutes? Just give me 5 minutes. All right. Now, let me ask this question. I'm gonna be quick about this, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Cole is trying to get off because he don't want to get in this heat that I put on him last week. But I got a question.
All right.
Now, you know Tank and Ryan is fighting April 22nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, here's my question.
Okay.
Tank supporters. Now, Tank has put together certain stipulations for this fight. Stipulations that I don't understand.
Okay.
All right. Now, Ryan has been fighting at 140 pounds. And he's been fighting there for the last 2 years. So
Okay.
Ryan said he would do anything to get this fight.
Okay.
The Tank is his guy. Tank he sees as like a milestone for his career.
Right.
So Tank says, all right, I'll fight you, but here's my conditions. Tank fights at 135 pounds. He tells Ryan, I fight at 135. Ryan says, look, you know I can't make it down to 135. Can we agree upon a catch weight, meaning a weight in between that we can agree upon? Floyd did it to Canelo. When Floyd fought Canelo, Floyd was fighting at 147. Yeah. Canelo was fighting 154. They agreed at 151, 152. They called it a catch weight.
Got you.
All right. So Ryan says, hey, Tank, give me 137. All right. 137, 138. Tank says, no, I fight at 135. I'll give you 136. It's a catch weight, which means it's not in the division. It's in between 135 and 140. 135 being lightweight, 140 being junior welterweight.
Gotcha.
All right. So Ryan agrees to that. He agrees. He takes the contract. Now, as soon as he signs that contract, Tank says, oh, yeah, by the way, on the night of the fight, I'm going to put in a rehydration clause for you, Ryan, that you cannot rehydrate up no higher than 146, which means that after we make weight, we hit the scale, you make 136, we get the fight. But when you go home that night and when you wake up, I'm going to weigh you again the night of the fight. If you over 146 pounds, you got to pay me $250,000 per pound you over. All right. It gets better. All right. Then Tank turns around and says, Ryan, if you win, I get a rematch. But if I win, no rematch. Now, I'm okay with the catch weight, 136. I'm the A-side fighter. You agree to my terms.
Right.
I'm okay with the rematch thing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really not okay with it.
I was going to say that too.
I'm really not okay. But the rehydration clause, you telling me on the night of the fight, I got to weigh in again. And you're telling me I can't rehydrate. I can't eat to a healthy weight.
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's not hydrating to a healthy weight. I think it's not hydrating to a weight to where you're out of my weight of getting hit from that weight level.
All right. I'm glad you said that. Cole, 2 more minutes. I'm glad you said that. Because here's the problem I have with that.
All right.
But Tank,
Mm-hmm.
when you fought Barrios,
Mm-hmm.
you fought him at 140.
Mm-hmm.
He was a champion. He had a belt.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't put in a rehydration clause for him.
Because of what you just said.
Why?
He's a champion. He has a belt.
Okay, but I thought it would be the opposite. Now, Tank, you went on record and said that I'm an Instagram model. I'm not a real fighter, you know, and you're 10 times better than me. So my question to Tank fans is this: Barrios, who's bigger than Ryan, who even rehydrates bigger than Ryan, who had a belt, Tank went up to fight him at 140. He didn't put stipulations on him, who was a bigger threat than Ryan, meaning he had a belt, he was bigger than Ryan, he rehydrates bigger than Ryan. But when he get ready to fight Ryan, who's nearly not the threat of Barrios, not as big as Barrios,
Yeah,
he put a rehydration.
I think
clause.
it's a flex, bro.
What?
I think it's a flex. I think the fact that the Barrio dude, you can't put a restriction. I'm coming up to fight you. You know what I'm saying? As far as Ryan, it's like, man, look, I call. As far as Ryan, it's more of bro, you really, if you want to fight me bad like you say you do, pay like you weigh. Literally.
Okay.
That's how, as far as that go, pay like you weigh.
All right, let me ask you.
If you keep if you think you just gonna weigh in at what we discussed and then turn around and get healthy, like not even get healthy because you healthy. You healthy. That's why you want to fight at that weight that we discussed. But if you try to go and get some pounds so you can hit a little harder.
But the bigger man that you fought that was bigger than him.
It ain't about that.
You
ain't
put no stipulations on him.
You can't put stipulations on the champion.
Huh?
You
yes,
can't
you can. That's what I'm saying. Why? See, here's the thing.
I think it's a flex. I think it's because it's like, bro, I'm not getting it out of fighting you except a check. So if you try to get some type of strategy and get a little bigger, pay for it.
All right. So wouldn't you agree that that's an advantage for Tank? That's a flex, right?
Yeah, that's a flex. That's a flex.
That's you.
Yeah, it's definitely anything that goes against what Ryan is doing is a flex.
Right.
Straight up.
A flex is I'm showing you that I'm
him. Yeah.
I got that advantage over
you, right? I think that's what it is. It's dumb. It's petty.
All right. So with that being said, let's take it back to the hood.
Okay.
Now, let's say you finna box somebody. How much you weigh?
160.
160. All right. Let's say the little dude been bumping. He weigh 155 pounds.
Okay.
Or he weigh 150. He been bumping.
Okay.
And you say, all right, listen, you've been bumping. Let's box.
Let's get it.
All right. Now you the bigger man, right?
Okay.
Now he said, all right, Jason, if you're gonna fight me at 155. And you say, okay, cool.
But you the one been bumping.
I know. Hold on, yeah. But he tell you, fight me at 155. You say, all right, cool.
All right.
I'm the bigger man.
I'll come down a little bit.
Come down. All right. All right, Jason. We're gonna fight at 155. Now he know you probably let's bump that weight down a little bit. You 160, he 145. I'll
come down to 150.
He said, Jason, come down to 150. Now he know that's more of a strain on you than him. All right. So you like, all right, I don't care. I just want to beat you up. I come down there. Then he turn around and tell you, all right, Jason, on the day that we gonna fight, you make the weight the night before we fight, you made 150. Now you get to go home. When you wake up, you usually gonna have your eggs, what you eat, because you already made weight. But he tell you, on the day we gonna fight, you can't have your meal. You can have a salad in the morning and you can drink water. Now, my question to you is this. that puts you at a disadvantage, right?
Right.
Is he getting the best version of you?
No. No.
Right. So is
I,
it
I,
really?
I see where you're going.
Is it
I
really
see where
a
you're going.
fair fight? Because Jason, he know you 160.
Yeah,
pounds.
I'm not getting the best. I'm
He
not
get
getting
to
you at
eat
your
his-
best. Yeah.
He get to
Yeah.
eat his meal on the day of the fight.
Mhm.
He get to do whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But he telling you, Jason, you made the weight, that's cool. But when you wake up the next day, when it's fight day,
How many more pounds can he not get?
he can't, Ryan can't go over 146.
And where they fighting at?
They fighting at 136. Now, Ryan, it's been known that when Ryan, because he younger, he bigger, and we've never seen this in boxing. Now, we've seen catch weights where Floyd has told Canelo, you got to weigh in at 152. Now, I don't give a shit what you do night of the fight.
Right.
Floyd ain't never put no rehydration clause.
Yeah,
now,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Canelo did it to Kovalev when he went up to fight Kovalev, but he went up to fight Kovalev. He put a rehydration clause because Kovalev was already a bigger man. He put a rehydration clause on Kovalev, but he didn't put a catch weight. So we've never seen in boxing.
So would it be fair if he take the catch weight off?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's my point. That's what looks crazy to me because
he doing a catch weight and
a rehydration clause. Now in boxing, we've seen one or the other. We've seen somebody put a rehydration clause or a catch weight.
So either way, he not getting the best version.
Getting the best version of Ryan. Now, this is what troubles me about this guy Tank. All right. We already know you're gonna win. But don't it look a little suspicious to you that I get you, hey, I fight at 135. So I don't fight. If you're gonna fight me, you're gonna fight me where I want you to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan said, look, man, I can't. It's like me, Jason. Jason tell the little dude, listen, dude, I walk around at 160.
Mm-hmm. You
know I can't get down to 140 and be healthy. I'll meet you at 150. All right. You want to fight me? Fight me. I meet you halfway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the bigger man. All right, cool. Jason, make the weight. You make the weight. It's time to box. But now you want to control.
Yeah, don't try to go gain extra weight though.
But he's not trying to. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think use your example. You walk around at 160. That's you walking
around. Okay.
Now, better example. You walk around at 160. Let's say we give JT 6 weeks to train.
Mm-hmm.
The contract weight is decided that you're going to get down to 150.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you ain't fought at 150 in 4 years, but you said for this fight, I'll do it. You make the weight. That's 10 pounds. That's not easy to do 6 weeks.
It's not.
Then I turn around and tell you for your last meal.
Don't go put it back on.
Don't put. You can't, even though that's your natural weight. That's what you walk around at. And here's the thing. It's not even really an advantage because the more you balloon up, yeah, you're going to get stronger, but you're going to be slower. That's why I say it's not an excuse. When Floyd fought Canelo made the weight, and Floyd said, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you come in the ring. I want the best version of you. I ain't going to put no hot rehydration. I'm just going to beat you because I feel like I'm better than you.
That's cool.
So the night that Floyd fought Canelo, Floyd made it weighed in at 154. He rehydrated to 154. Canelo was at 180. Floyd took him to school.
Mm-hmm. That's a great example. But let me ask you this, since you brought up the street version, why is the bigger guy shooting at the little guy?
Let's just say it's been a beef. Let's just say it's been a beef.
Because why are you beefing with the little dude?
Let's just say y'all.
He started it now. Ryan started it.
No,
why are you beefing with the little dude?
No. Listen. That's beyond the point. That's beyond the point. Because that's why I put you in it. Let's just say y'all been growing up.
All right.
Y'all been growing up in BG, and this dude just been forever bumping. You just been like, all right, man. He's like, you know what, dog? I'm gonna fight you.
I'm saying, yeah. You valid.
I'm bigger than you, but you know what? I fight you. Now, if he already know Jason, you 160, he fight at 145.
Yeah.
He turn around and tell you, say, Jason, you gotta make 146.
Man, but see, I don't like that. I'll go back to the other one because it's like if you talking noise to me, get your weight up, bro. Go to the first one. Go back to the first. It's like, bro, you want to fight me that bad? Well, come up here or accept me as I come. Because you talking noise like you can whoop me. Come on, whoop this 60-pounder.
Okay, but let's just say for the sake of
for
fight.
the sake of
it's
fight, weak, bro. Okay, you win. I can't even lie. I can't think of nothing to say, bro.
No, this is what I'm
It's weak. It's weak.
It's weak.
It's weak. Simply because you're not getting the best.
This is what I'm saying.
I
not,
get
for the sport of boxing, not the best. And at the end of the day, don't it look like you scared?
You scared. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but
don't it look like that?
Yeah,
that's why I put you in it.
Yeah.
Now he already know you walk around at 160. You naturally bigger than him.
Yeah. The way both of them bumping, it shouldn't be no clauses.
That's my point. Or, you know what?
And Tank shouldn't be the one putting them on there, bro.
I don't even have a problem with Tank saying make 136. I don't have a problem with him saying a catch weight. I don't have a problem with that because at the end of the day, Tank is the A side. You want to fight me?
Yeah.
I fight at 135.
Yeah. See, and my thing is, man, it's cool to flex, but man, make your flex make sense. Don't make your flex sound like, bro, you scared.
It sounds like he's scared to me.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
And I hate to say it like that, but that's what it sounds like, bro. Like, yeah. Because if he don't make that, or why you don't want a nigga to eat?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like
just don't eat no T-bone steaks, bro. Don't eat no steaks and then you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. It's just like Floyd with Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, man, I don't care what you're gonna do. Night of the fight.
Yeah, just make weight.
You already made weight the day before. Whatever you do, I'm so confident I'm gonna beat you.
And see, and that's my thing, bro. If you gotta rush that weight back on to beat me, bro, you're not gonna be ready. Because it's not going to sit right if you've been waiting all this time to lose it. And you're going to, it just sounds like he just throwing dumb stuff out there, man. And I hate it.
That's what I'm saying.
I hate it.
Just like now.
I hate it. Because they both, he and Tank been talking, and all of us,
already got Tank winning. But now it's going to be kind of taken to me because it's like, well, Ryan.
And that's the thing. Even if Tank win, that will be able to be said.
That's what I'm
saying. So it's like, why not eliminate everything?
Why not just say, make the weight the night before, and then whatever you come in at
is whatever. But the real kid,
because the reality is, even if you get bigger, you're gonna get slower.
Yeah,
I can still beat you.
Exactly, due to the process of what you're gonna have to do to keep that. So, but my thing is why would you say if I lose? Wait a minute, bro. If I lose, I get we not even thinking on that level.
And I'm not even mad about that. That's week 2. You
gotta be, if you gonna turn right around and be like, but if I win,
you don't get a
that's whack, bro. Like you should have kept that clause to yourself. You could have kept that out camera.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thing. I tell people this all the time. That's why I always, when it comes to Tank,
because he does
stuff like that. So here's my thing.
He always got to complain.
If you're doing this to Ryan, who's a contender, you don't even have a bill.
Yeah.
That means after you beat Ryan,
this gonna be your thing.
Everybody been asking you to fight Devin. So if you're gonna make Ryan,
he gonna do it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What you think kind of hoops he gonna make Devin go do? The fight ain't gonna happen because Devin is getting bigger.
Everybody getting bigger.
Exactly.
Bro.
The only person that's going to be left for you, and if you're making it difficult to fight Ryan, the only person that's going to be is Shakur.
Oh, yeah.
So what kind of things you going to try to make Shakur go through?
That's the comparison. If you doing this for Ryan Garcia, bro.
What are you going to do to Shakur? When it's time to fight Shakur, what you think he going to do? Because he already ducked Devin.
I'm not going to say he ducked him.
He had to.
I'm not gonna say
he did because he got a belt, and the dude that's sitting above you that got the real belts is saying, let's fight. You're not returning their phone calls. Bill Haney going on there saying, I can't get them to call me back. You talk, and see, I wouldn't even have a problem with
he talks it.
I wouldn't even have a problem with Tank if he didn't say that.
Yeah, he talks it. That's why I'm saying you can't talk that much, man, and then have them kind of clout. You can't.
It look like you're concerned about Ryan.
That it is. That's That's what
You
I mean
see
by
something
you gotta
that
you doubt.
like,
You doubt.
you
He
see
doubting.
something like
He doubting.
exactly,
He doubting.
exactly
Something making him doubt something.
that you got to weight drain the man. On the night of the fight,
Yo, I can't.
the man can't sit down and have 3 meals that day. Why?
Yeah, I tried. I thought everything I could, bro. It ain't nothing.
You know what?
I don't know.
Listen.
It's weak. Ain't no way to put it, man.
If he said, let's fight at 140, let's fight at 140 and I'll put a weight clause on you then. All right.
But if I'm gonna put a weight clause on you, I'm just not gonna fight you, bro.
That's
Like
my point.
Like you not in my weight class. Just leave it alone.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no clause if we
It
finna go back and forth.
Exactly.
Nah.
Like I said, this dude been growing up with you your whole life. You done told this dude, say, man, dudes I fight is 160, 170. I box them. That's where I box. Now, I want to box you. Now, you know I usually box 170-pound guys. That's who I box. That's who I spar. I walk around at 160. Or better yet, I walk around at 170. I come down to fight a 165 dude. That's where I fight.
Yeah.
I want to fight you. You know I'm a bigger dude. I can't do nothing about that. I'm just a bigger dude. I tell you what, I meet you at 160. That's gonna strain me, but I
still rock with it. Yeah,
right. I'm gonna meet you at 160. JT say, I fight you at 160. I gotta change some stuff in my camp, but I come get you at 160. Yeah. All right, cool. I make the weight. Then you turn around and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, JT, on the night of the fight,
that ain't what's happening. That ain't what's happening." Yeah,
that ain't
what's up, dog. Yeah, that ain't.
This me. I gotta eat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm be honest. I'm on here, man. Take note. This might be the last time I say this, but I tried.
That's my point.
I said I tried to think of everything for the.
You
can't. It's just like for me. I'm not gonna say I want to fight you, but
exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to fight you.
Exactly.
I don't want to fight you.
And the thing is this.
But if I lose,
I know JT the bigger man, so I know I already got advantage because he coming down.
That's it. That's all we need, right?
Exactly.
That's it.
He agreed to fight me. He coming down.
Yeah,
that's gonna put a strain on him anyway. That's already an advantage. But he agreed to fight me. I'm cool with it. But then I'm gonna say on the day of the fight.
Yeah, that's just like it's two different things to say. I know I can beat you, then I think I can beat you. If I know I can beat you, let's go. If I think I can beat you, I gotta put some restrictions and I gotta put some advantages and some treats.
It looked like
I gotta.
Like you doubt.
I think that man, I can't think of that now. I don't know, man. It ain't.
I just wonder.
Only thing I can say that he doing, man, is just stupid petty flexing, man. He gotta be petty flexing, but the petty flexing is looking as though there's a possibility that he can lose.
Yeah. The petty flexing is I don't want to say it's cheating, but it's like to get more insurance to make sure I win.
And I'm gonna say this on record too. If he was with Floyd, them conversations and that type of shit. I mean that wouldn't fly.
Well, maybe that's why Floyd didn't let him fight. Because Floyd was like, if you ain't gonna fight him at a particular way,
I think so.
Then you just don't need to fight him.
And as a businessman, you're not finna beat up my brand. Just because you want to fight the brand because of the brand or because the brand is talking, I'm smart enough to know 135 and 155 is 20 pounds.
And maybe that's why Floyd and them didn't.
Yeah, because Floyd showed himself he beat up Jake. But if Jake rocked him a few times, it wasn't just as easy. He couldn't knock him down.
But and that's a good example. What you can say about Floyd is
he ain't scared.
I'll fight him.
He ain't. If he agrees to fight
I'll fight him.
Yeah, Floyd checking money and boxing gloves and don't take no steroids. He taking drugs and money.
Right. Yeah. When he fought Canelo, he was like, "All right, we'll do a catch weight.
Yeah.
I don't care what you weight fighting at, because I feel like." And what Floyd said is, I want you to be the best that you are. Yeah,
and
if you put me up to 180 because you're a big guy, I still beat you.
And see, and that's for me. If we both capping, we both talking.
Yeah.
Man, it ain't no nothing.
Let's
Let's go.
Yeah.
You bring you, I'm gonna bring me. So
Right.
ain't no if at don't tell your homeboys to come. Tell everybody to stand to the. It's a understate. I don't. But at the same time, man, like I would say something like, if you get bigger, a bag go with every pound. If you taking the chances of knocking me out, getting bigger. Yeah, man. Let me get that. But no, it ain't gonna be we ain't fighting if you get bigger. If you eat or if you eat a little bit more, if you don't boo-boo on time. You know what I'm saying? Now we still gonna go get it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But you gonna pay for it.
You still think you can you in your mind, I could beat you.
Yeah, see, that's it. That's the whole thing, period. And if anything, I'll make you step on the scale just to show, he gained some weight, I'm gonna still drop it. But it ain't gonna be I ain't fighting him. He gained 8 pounds. Nah, we not doing that. Not tight. Nah, man, you done got up there, man, in 5 different colors, hoop shorts and a mink, man, and some Oakley shades, bro. No.
And then you first.
Man, look, man, I'm telling you, I'm seeing things, man, that is not of boxing. Like when he was with Floyd, I don't care. It's a different way to flex, bro. Like, man, we gotta be matching. It gotta make sense. You can't just be up there looking like you got money and was like, man, I like that jacket. I like that. Like, you all out of place.
You rocking a purse.
Man, stop that part, man. Yeah, we could bring the purse up too. Everything, man, that he's been wearing and that he's been presenting himself to, man, is showing like signs of immature spending.
And he don't look confident.
Man, he looks silly. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he know he fighting somebody less than, and it's like he not taking it serious. The boy wearing his coolest, it seemed like he's wearing his coolest item. Like, I need a shirt, give me the cool one. I need something to wear below my waist. I need something from waist down. Give me some shorts. I don't care how I feel outside. Slippers and slides to the, nah, bro. Nah, it don't look, and then you turn around and make them claws. It's like, man, you're not even, as a fighter, it's like, bro, you're not even taking me serious.
Exactly.
You're showing up like that.
And then you show up an hour late.
It's too much flex, bro. It's Floyd. At least when Floyd flex and be late, man, he's doing it for a certain attention. The attention that my man is bringing on himself right now. And this is for me. When I see him, I be on mute. I don't want to hear the noise talking. But when you see him get up and it's like, man, what my dude got on?
Show up late, rocking a purse.
Man, yeah, and he did, bro. He did. And all the cameras on you, fam. All the cameras on you. I understand that I don't care, but it's like, come on, man, we gotta be professional. And your fans, man, I'm not finna come to my concert with the cameras on me and I'm doing the walkthrough to go to the dressing room, man, and I'm not presentable. Just because you got on a Dior shirt and you Yeezy, like, come on, man, we gotta be matching. You know what I'm saying? We gotta look like we put this together. You know what I'm saying? Not like, hey, we just want to get to the gym. If we gonna do that, cut the cameras off.
The purse.
Yeah, man, that is different. But like I said, man, for this fight, man, I really couldn't wait on it. But if you notice, I haven't been speaking on nothing because everything I've been seeing as far as promotion is not boxing, bro. It's not boxing. It's about who can negotiate the best, who can bring the most cameras, who can say the coolest things, man. The only thing that both of them been saying to me, man, that makes sense is we'll talk about it after the fight. We'll go. But I don't want to see the fight no more, man. Because if this man put these type of clauses, and man, when I read them the other day, man, it's like, no, he didn't. I thought it was a spoof. We not finna talk that kind of noise and then be like, but don't, hey, I know we going running, but don't bring no track shoes.
I'm just putting that in question, but listen.
You know what I'm saying? I know we gonna race, but we gotta race on rocks.
Glad.
Come on, bro.
I'm glad. I told Cole. Glad you were a fan of the sport.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I still think the man gonna win.
He is, but it don't matter no more.
But it just
because
don't look right.
Because imagine you saying, if I win, you can't fight me no more. But
right.
Bro, we in our head like, nah, that ain't you. The man ain't his best. Everybody you can drop the dude first round. He was weak.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna be the coldest
right.
hook. We can say everything. So I don't want to see it because I know what's gonna be on episode. You know what I'm saying? Was he at his best, JT? No, I don't. Hey. Yeah, so I'm telling you that.
A lot of people say this on Tank's side.
It is, man. It's
ended like this. A lot of people say Ryan accepted the contract. He knew what he was getting into.
No, he didn't. Man, that man didn't know he was gonna have to fluctuate weight. Like, oh, come on, man. Women do that, man. Women go to what's the lady name? Wait.
Jenny Craig.
Jenny Craig on Weight Watchers on Saturdays. I'm gonna weigh in on Saturday. Oh man, come on, man.
Well, I just want to know. I appreciate your time, brother. Always good to see you, man.
Always, man.
We're gonna have to reconvene on this fight, but it's been real from Mo City to New York.
Tank fans, I'm sorry.
Shout out to Cole. Shout out to JT for blessing us with this last 5 minutes.
Love
We'll catch up next week and do it again. Thank y'all for tuning in to Debate with Bait podcast. You can stream this episode on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow Mo Serious Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to Mo Serious Entertainment on YouTube. Check out Mo City the movie. Check out Mo City the soundtrack, which is coming out soon. Catch you next week on Debate with Bait podcast, and we out.
Yep.